What's going on, family? It's Coach Khayr is in the building tonight. We're getting ready to do this Michael Brown show. Just getting ready to, we're going to figure out, we're going to discuss, do people need to stay in the house? Do our women need to stay in the house? Do they need to stay inside for Michael Brown? A lot of controversial statements have been made. Whole lot of stuff is going on. And tonight we're going to clear the air. I think it's going to be a very powerful night, and you are invited to listen in because you're going to see what's going on this evening. Yeah. We all know, but I'm just going to let you come on and just listen in right now and just let me know what you think about the show. And we're gonna have a good time. Trust me. I had to turn the music down because sometimes Google wants to trip about what I'm doing and things of that nature, but they cannot stop the party. So we're getting ready to rock and roll here. Just a hot second. Y'all hold on. We're playing that Sade, Soldier of Love. You're on Blog Talk. I definitely appreciate everybody, everybody tuning in. This is going to be a big show right here. I call it monumental. So let's get it. Tell your friends, man. Post this on somebody else's page and see what they got to say about it too. So let's get this party started. I'm a soldier all the days of my life. I don't doubt. Oh.
Good evening, citizens of Earth.
Welcome, humans. I merely tell you that the future of your planet is at stake.
We have to ask you to try to stay calm, and it's important for everyone not to panic.
I am authorized to assure you that so far there is no reasonable cause for alarm.
Listen, do you hear? It's getting closer.
We have come to visit you in peace and with goodwill.
We work for a highly funded yet unofficial government agency. Our mission is to monitor extraterrestrial activity on Earth. We are the Men in Black.
You know what the difference is between you and me? I make this look good.
It's awesome, baby!
What's happening? This is Coach Khayr, and once again, you are rocking with the best. Tonight, just like every other night, I am going to do my best to bring to you and present sides that you may not have this particular perspective. So I say CMP, see my perspective for a second, all right? Or SMP, see my perspective. We know that on the 9th of August, there was a young man named Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, outside of St. Louis, that was shot. And by a police officer, he was unarmed. He died from the gunshot wounds. It's been all over every newspaper around the world. The police started putting on riot gear. The people of the town, rightfully so, very angry, very emotional, started marching toward the police, very upset. As of today, it's the 17th or the 18th or whatever, there still has no officer has been charged. A lot of shenanigans are going on in the town. The town really wasn't that organized before this happened. The town is getting organized now as far as calming people down so people can stay out of harm's way. All right. But as far as political organization, they have years to go. Years to go. I'm going to present part of that tonight. And you know, every Wednesday night we do a show called Man Leads Radio, based off the information in Ro Kutno's book, Man Leads, Women Follows, Everyone Wins. And as I was following some of the stories on the internet, I saw that there was a young lady. Well, let me preface this a little bit more. We've talked about women being feminine and protecting their femininity, and how important it is as a healthy man in a healthy relationship to protect a woman's femininity as well, to make sure she has a safe space around her. And we've had shows on, well, should the man be leading me, or can that man tell me what to do, or how do I dictate, or how do I know, can he lead, or how can he? And one of the big things we've said is the woman has to step out of the masculine energy so the man can step fully into it. All right? And we've talked about this, but we haven't had any type of emergency to talk about, like of this proportion where man leads is very prevalent to this situation with Mike Brown. All right? Because up until, I guess, a day ago, when the new Black Panther Party and the Nation of Islam started coming in and hitting the streets, after they put in the black state trooper captain to take over because the chief of police was just tripping, some order and leadership started to come back to order. You see, when real men who are healthy came back in, some order started to take place. Now, people are still mad, and they're still doing things, and they're looting and violence and stuff like that, and it'll settle down. Astrologically, I did a whole nother show to explain what was going on with the heavens and what influenced it. A lot of people don't believe in astrology, and they just say, oh, cops are bad, and they just want to kill black people, and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, if that's how you feel. But all I can do is give you the evidence that there were other energies at play that contributed to what was going on. So then, wow, on the 15th, a young lady gets shot in the head. A young lady protester gets shot in the head and puts it on YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, but she takes a selfie of herself riding in the ambulance, and she got shot right here. The bullet, when you turn it sideways, you can see on the x-ray the bullet hit her in her forehead right above her third eye. For those of you who know what your third eye, fourth eye, fifth eye, on the way up to the crown chakra. She was right here where her vision, her psychic vision is at. She got shot with a bullet while she was protesting, right? And the police to this day still have not come to talk to her and ask her what happened and all of this other stuff. They try to say it was a drive-by and whatever, but she was there protesting after dark and got shot. I went on Facebook and my social networks and said women need to stand down, put their hands in their pockets, and don't be involved in this particular ritual, because I feel and what I see and what I know that they're being controlled by media who's looking for content, people who want to sell tanks and military gear. Everybody's making money off of this except for the town of Ferguson. The insurance companies, when they're burning down and looting the QTs and all that, you're just hurting your community, and you got to take more money to the grocery store way across town, right? So I made a poster and said, women need to stand down. I'm going to pull the poster up so people can see it, and then I'm going to bring on my guest, Ro Kutno, who is the author of the book, Man Leads. And I'm going to turn a lot of the show over to her tonight and I'm gonna just like follow the story over here on YouTube. So if you're watching me on my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see, you'll be able to see like some of the things that we're talking about. I'm gonna pull it up and share it on the screen, and you'll be able to watch it. So I'm double screening. So I mean streaming. So we're on Blog Talk and we're on YouTube. So if you want to watch it live on YouTube, just go over to YouTube, type in Coach Khayr, Man Leads Radio. Boom, it'll pop up. You'll see the episode is playing. We're streaming live, all right? Let me find this picture because I want to show this even before Ro comes on. And people were in outrage. The women, when I said go in, I said women need to be in the house. I'm going to read it like word for word, like exactly what I said. So, because people were like upset, mostly females, and then a lot of dudes was in their feelings, and they was like, oh man, you're a pimp. The women have always been in the marches. You don't know what you're talking about. You're trying to demean women. You're trying to keep women down. All of that. I mean, like, I was called all types of names, right? So in the flyer, here we go, right here. Let me go back to the Hangout. Let me share the screen so people can see it, so they can see what the fuss was about. All right? Put that down. Put that right. Right, okay. So when you notice, it says at the top, it says Michael Brown Rituals for Justice. All right? I had already posted a picture of Mike alive, not laying down on the ground dead, him with his eyes open, and I suggested that you put a plate of food out for him, put him on your altar, say some prayers for him and his family. Then when I saw the women standing up, I said, hey, Michael Brown, I put a picture of a woman behind some candles. I said, we need a lot more of this and a lot less of this. And underneath the picture, it said, black women, stand down this time, go in the house and do some magic. Let the soldiers be soldiers. You're not needed on the front lines. You're needed in the home doing magic, rituals, and prayers. We love you and thank you. That was a plea I did for females to go in the house and work with you're a specialist at doing feminine things, all right? And everybody was like, I don't like what you said. Look how you said, look how you, and I'm going to discuss that tonight too. I'm going to talk to Ro about that, about, you know, that particular topic, and we're going to look at the words and all of that, all right? So let me come on and bring in, because this is the time when we want to say, okay, well, Ro, you say men lead. And a lot of people have been asking, where's the leadership? Where's the leadership in this situation? That's what we need, is leadership. So, without further ado, I want to open up the mic. Please put your hands together for the author of Man Leads, Women Follows, Everyone Wins, Ro Kutno.
It's awesome, baby.
What's going on, Ro? How you feeling? How you feeling tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh man, I am highly anticipated about doing this show. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too. I'm really excited that we have a chance to literally watch what we have been speaking about go into practice when it comes to masculine leadership.
What do you mean exactly?
Well, you know, often when we speak, a lot of women reply either by Facebook or chat room or by calling in, and they say that men are not leading, and so women are placed in the position to have to lead and to have to fight for things.
Okay.
But as far as I can tell, there are several men willing to stand up for Michael Brown.
Absolutely.
They may not be as organized as possible. Hey, nobody knew that all of this stuff was going to happen. And it's very possible that the women behind this movement can help the men to organize. That would be lovely. But if there are men willing to stand up for Michael Brown publicly and outdoors in the daytime and at nighttime, then how are women feeling that it's logical to say that men are not willing to lead here?
Right. Well,
and as we discussed over and over again, in order for men to get better and better at leading, women have to move out of leadership positions. There is no time like now for that to be practiced. We already need to practice this in our homes, but now we have to practice this in society, in front of the media, while the whole world is watching. Think about how united it would look if only men were outdoors protesting. Think about how our people would finally look.
Wow.
That one single thing, the absence of women, would be more powerful. It would speak volumes to the fact that black men are tired of being treated like boys, like less than, or like animals. It would speak volumes if we acted as families instead of animals. But if on the media you saw a picture of the Black American man in the streets, organized, even unorganized, in public, with the absence of women and children around, it makes it very clear about their seriousness and the fact that they want to protect. Because if the women are in the street, they're not being protected.
Now immediately some women replied and said, we've always been in a march. Every time there's a march, we've been in it. Every time. Yes,
and black women are still being looked at as less feminine than a lot of women. So maybe it's time that we stop that.
Wow. And then they said, Khayr, how dare you tell us where we're supposed to be? That was really a point I wanted you to address, that they got mad because I wanted to protect them, and then and then in my phrasing, they didn't agree with the phrasing. But as I read the exact words, you saw the flyer. It says go in the home.
Right.
It said stand down. We don't need you on the front lines. It didn't say we don't need you. But why does she want to be on the front line so bad anyway, Ro?
I don't know. I guess we want to prove that we are manly. What is it? What is it?
Well,
we don't want protection. What is it? We cannot protect ourselves and want protection at the same time. We cannot be masculine and want our men to be masculine at the same time. We cannot fight in the streets and expect someone to see us as worthy of fighting for when we're already in the streets fighting. And we cannot nurture our home. You know, there needs to be balance. Children need balance. Men need balance. Women need balance. If everybody's out in the street There's the balance.
Who's watching?
Where is
Right. Not even just where's the balance, but
who's watching the kids?
And what message is that sending to the young female in the house? What message is that sending to her, the young female who's 8, I don't care, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 years old, 15 years old? What message is that being sent to her when she sees mom and dad out in the street? Or there is no dad there and it's just mom out in the street. What message does that send to her?
Well, it sends a few messages. One of them is that women are supposed to be protecting of society.
Mm.
The second thing is that women are supposed to put their families at the back burner when it comes to priorities. Neither one of those things are healthy for the family, attractive to a male, positive as far as the view of this family according to society. Society is not looking at these protests thinking, wow, what a strong people. Society is looking at these protests thinking, wow, they are so wild, and look how wild the women are too.
Whoa.
Okay? One of our biggest problems is one of the biggest reasons why we are disrespected as people is because we don't show value towards our own families. I cannot tell you how many times people from other countries believe that the Black American family does not value each other. They can't even speak English yet, and they get that from just looking.
Some people have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Some people have commented that, well, what else are they supposed to do? They're angry. They're angry as a community. As a community, they're angry. And I can understand that. But am I supposed to abandon the household because I want to go out and make a point? And here's my point, because I'm looking at the whole thing strategically. If you even want to come outside in a peaceful protest during the daytime, that's cool. But the police that you're marching against are how can that be happening? Somebody was trying to call in. So how could that even happen? Okay, I don't have a problem if you want to come outside during the daytime and you want to protest. Okay, but if the cops, who are notorious and who have riot gear, guns, tear gas, tanks, bulletproof vest, mace, everything that you don't have, and at nighttime they're doing the grimiest of things, why are you still out here after dark? Why are you? Because that's when like the most ill warfare stuff takes place. Why are you out here after dark? Why aren't you at home where you are needed? Because if both of my parents are gone during the day and then it gets dark and both of my parents are outside and I hear gunshots, I don't know whether I don't know whether my mother got shot or my father got shot. Who's comforting me back at home? And I can at no means figure out how me saying that, they would say, you're being chauvinistic. How could you even imagine that I'm trying to say, oh, you're just oppressing women?
Well, one of the main things is we love to ignore the sensitivity of children as a people. We love to do this. our sensitivity, most of us as Black Americans were ignored as far as our feelings are concerned when we were children. And everybody knows how it feels, but this cycle continues and continues. These children do not need to be traumatized in 2014. They don't need a reality check about how easily it is to get shot. They need their parents at home. Or at least one of them. They need someone talking them through what's happening. What about that? They need normalcy. They need comfort. They need to be shielded at the windows in case somebody shoots in. What about that? And hopefully nobody's bringing their children outside during these protests, but I'm sure almost all of these people have children. And even if they don't have children, women are not supposed to be signaling to men that they don't need their protection again and again and again. When women do this, we send a message out to the world that we are masculine and manly. There was a woman on YouTube, I saw a week ago, and a police officer was in the middle of the highway just punching her face. Did you see that?
Yep.
Now, why is this happening? I'm sure you have come up with the same conclusion that I have come up with. Police officers are more and more reacting to Black women as if they are men.
Wow.
More and more Black women are getting roughed up by the police. Eventually, it will turn into shootings. Why can't we see this and stop it before it goes that far? Because we're already trying to stop them from shooting Black boys and Black men. The next step is Black women.
Wow. Where are they going to go next, right? They got if they were shooting Black men first, now they're shooting Black boys. And then they've already shot. Remember what I said at the beginning of the show? They already shot a Black woman in the forehead, dead center. She's blessed to be here. And
but that didn't happen enough times for people to get the message. And I'm sure somebody will say that's an accident. But when you look at how aggressive the police have become with Black American women, I'm talking about shoving them into cells, shoving them into cars, just total disrespect of the fact that they are a woman. It's only going to get worse. The best thing that women can do is, first, be a woman. Be a feminine woman. Make sure that everybody knows you need protection. When women do that, it automatically gives the children protection and immunity from harsh behavior. Like we keep saying over and over again, men respond to women because of masculine instinct. You can't change it. So when a woman or a group of women or a people start to act so masculine, whenever we turn around the corner, all police officers are going to start thinking that all of us are masculine and can handle being roughed up, shoved around, disrespected, and more. This is getting worse and worse and worse. And what are we going to do? Keep fighting the same way? The definition of insane is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
And I mean, it's happening at such a prevalent rate right now that you just, I mean, like, I know it's been at least 12 deaths since Michael Brown, and we don't want to just single it like Michael Brown's the hottest story, of course, but they had the 50-some murders in Chicago a couple of weekends ago. The lack of male leadership. We still need men to start to be healthy, to stand in line. But an angry woman, the men will go stand up against the police, but we won't stand up against an angry woman who's trying to stand in masculine energy. I know I will not. I will not. Like all of the angry women that were on my Facebook page calling me names and getting in my inbox and stuff like that, they were, their pictures were very soft and sexy, but their words were very harsh, and I thought I was talking to another dude. And it even seemed as if, yo, we will fight you if we see you. If we see you, we will fight you. And I was like, who does that and why? You know, why would you want to fight me? You know what I mean? And as a female, now my other part that I really wanted to make tonight was strategically, women, listen to what I'm saying, and men, if you don't know this, if a woman, if I'm going to fight someone, Ro, and I got, it's me and my 5 homeboys going to fight 5 other men, that's all I'm thinking about is me fighting those men and those men fighting us. And if I know my woman is home, I'm not even concerned about that. She's not really like, I want to get home, but she's not in my, it's not a distraction. But as soon as a woman steps in on that line and joins us, the 5, she may say, well, now it's 6 of us. Yes, but my natural instinct is to protect you. So I'm not focused on my foe right now. So you're really doing us more harm than damage. And so then all of a sudden somebody does a poor job of throwing history in my face and saying, well, the Civil Rights March, we were out there and we were getting hosed down too. You were getting hosed down in certain situations, and that's water. And the police in the 60s are not the animals and beasts that they are in 2014-15.
Nope.
It's a whole nother animal. I even had
not towards women anyway.
I even had an attorney tell me that his wife's grandmother or grandfather sent her sister or sent someone to a school that had not been segregated yet or had not been integrated yet, and he called that on the front lines. I want to tell you that if you do something historic and like people are calling you names and things like that, that's not front lines like guns. When you're facing guns, that's front line. But when people are just calling you names, and yeah, they might be spitting on you, and yeah, it's a lot of turmoil and things like that, but it's not the same as standing looking down the barrel of guns, okay? And that is what they're doing right now. You can go and see that the Ferguson Police Department, the chief of police was trained in he was trained in Afghanistan with anti-terrorist tactics, and everything that they came out there with that they were wearing was something that would blow your back out. Basically, it would blow your back out. And for me to have one sister out there, but for me to have 100 sisters out there, and we're saying we're arm in arm, shows me that that's a lot of unhealthy men. It's a lot of unhealthy men were there originally. Now, I'm not saying that those same men and the exact same thing is going on today, but we're speaking about this from a standpoint of...
But also, you know, women were not as manly as they are now in the 50s either. Let's be clear.
Uh-oh.
Okay? When women were protesting, these visions that we have are, you know, Coretta Scott King and Angela Davis and so forth and so on. A lot of women were, you know, still within their feminine nature. There were limits to what they would do. Now, women are like limitless. They're thinking they should do every single thing that a man does. But let's take it away from opinion and let's bring it into scientific. You know, there are several studies that show that men's testosterone levels decrease. I posted one up just before the show on Facebook, a study, that a man's testosterone level decreases based on the emotions and sadness and behavior of a woman. How is a man going to protect anyone or fight for any cause when a woman is standing next to him? He can't. Women are reducing men's testosterone levels by even trying to protest with them. They can't. A man's testosterone level immediately decreases when he smells or sees tears come from a woman's eye.
Whoa.
This is really important to understand. Women need to understand that we are not the same as men. We need to nurture their masculinity and sit down. Be women. The more feminine a woman is, the more masculine the men around her are going to be. This is what we need to focus on because we can't be men biologically, emotionally, and intellectually. Women are women and men are men. That's never going to change. But what we can change is that women are more feminine so that men are more masculine. And women needing men or being in harm's way around men are preventing men from doing whatever they want to do, just like you said. If you're out protesting and women are there, it's going to make you be concerned about her. And that's your thinking, but scientifically, there's reasons for that. So scientifically, they need to stay home.
You said something earlier about, I messaged you and you said that some of the women that may be arguing, they're probably single. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China, with a woman being single and then wanting to be argumentative with, just argumentative period. They want to be out in the street. They want to be, they want to be upset. You know, can you tell me about how does that factor in?
It's like a catch-22 because the more angry you are, the more argumentative you are, the more single you'll be. The more single you are, the more angry you are going to be. So somebody's going to have to make decisions for themselves as to what they want. Because you can't stay in a couple with a masculine heterosexual man and be a man. So you're going to have to make a decision as to if you're going to keep your manliness going or if you're going to settle it down. Because even if you don't want a man, now that's a whole other subject because you'll hear me say over and over again that women need a man. But even if you're saying you don't want a man, which I don't believe, you still need a man. We still need men in protest for Michael Brown, even if all the women show up. If all the women show up and no men show up, what's that going to do?
Nothing.
That's going to look really bad. First of all, that's going to look really bad.
Right. It's going to look bad. And it's also going to, just the voice of our actions is one of the main things that I'm talking about. Like, I'm talking from such a broad perspective. Like, it really has nothing to do with me feeling good or wanting to, like, tell women what to do. I don't get off telling people what to do. I don't. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't do anything for me to like say I want you to stand under my foot. No, I want you to stand in your lane. I do want my woman to be beside you, but when I want to be manly when there's danger around. And I want to feel.
Well, you know, we have been in this country for generations and generations being told as women that men are trying to take away our freedom. Now, we have to be very, very open-minded to hear and understand that the reason that women have been told this is so that we reject men and stay in the workforce to keep the economy strong. Men are supposed to be demonized. We're supposed to be afraid of men, what they're going to do to us physically and emotionally, and all of this crazy stuff. And there are two points I want to make about that. The first point is, if so many men are violent, then how come most men in prison are not in there for violent crimes?
Wow.
And the second point is, the country which I always use as a very good example is Japan. And in my opinion, Japanese society has things very balanced and it works very well. Almost every person in Japan is making an average of $400,000 a year. Now, I'm pretty sure that has changed in the past years because of the global economy, but Japan, it has always, for a long time, been doing very well financially. Well, Joe Biden went to Japan last year and started a campaign to teach the Japanese women that their men are oppressing them. In 2013. Now, if they don't already feel oppressed, then why is Joe Biden showing up? And there is an agreement between their leader and our leader to have women in the workplace neglecting their families and a huge number of them by 2017. Japanese children are extremely well-mannered. They have very great records as far as schooling is concerned. Japan is one of the cleanest countries, if not the cleanest country on earth. Culture is rich. It's extremely beautiful, and all of those things are because of what women bring to the table. But our economy is trying to mix things up and benefit from it, and we don't care. We don't care about families. We don't care about children. We don't care if all of a sudden all of the kids in Japan don't have any parents at home, just like American kids don't. We don't care. But we need to, as Americans, understand that this is an agenda. Women are supposed to think that men are out to get them. If you are on Facebook and you tell women, no, you need to stay home so we can protect you, they're naturally going to get angry because they think that you are out to get them. They have been told this since they were born, and their mothers have been told this, and their grandmothers have been told this. But it is impossible for men to be as evil as the media makes them out to be. It's humanly impossible. If the number of men that the media claimed were evil are actually evil, there will be no men walking around in society. But according to the media, every man is capable of sneaking into your window, breaking into your house, beating you upside the head, harassing your children. This is what the media shows, that men are trying to oppress women. And this is a campaign that they have now started. You can Google it. They have started this campaign in Japan. Now, I don't know. I hope that they are more resistant and that they do their research. But as American women, we need to understand that we have been fooled. Who fights for freedom to go to work? Who does that? If somebody was taking care of you at home, what real freedom are you getting by having to be forced to go to work? Like, I don't get it.
You know, Joe Biden, he got to push his agenda right now, and he want to get the U.S. Like, if I can't make my economy stronger, let me make one of the strongest economies weaker by doing what we did to divide it.
Yeah, well, if their economy strengthens, then that will strengthen our economy as well. You know?
Right. Well, you got a point there. The call-in number tonight is 347-205-9089. Please press 1 if you want to listen in. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. You are listening and watching Man Leads Radio. I mean, I'm just showing on Facebook some of the people who shared the photo. By the way, there were 91 likes on the photo. 91 crazy people, Ro, who said, I like it and I agree with what you're saying, Khayr.
But the positive people don't always talk.
No, they don't talk. They just hit the like button and keep it moving. And then I here's one comment that I just get sick of these men, so-called conscious, who have adopted the white man's patriarchy and believe it to be ours. So now
talking about you telling them to stay inside.
Yeah. They're responding to the poster that that, you know, I'm with the white man's agenda, and that's who I'm representing, is the white man. So I'm saying, yeah, I mean that's what they're accusing me of, which to me, like what I say, and I say it kind of bluntly, if you're used to arguing all the time and not looking for the positive in something, then exactly you want to, especially somebody you don't know. And like the people I had the most problems with were people who I was not friends with on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
right.
They were blanking out. They were blanking out, and I was just like.
But also, they don't know where you come from. They don't know your point of view. They don't know your general, your general way. This happens with me too. No,
not you. Are you serious? They mistake you. And they say you're an oppressor. Is that what they say?
In certain groups, people who don't know my background can easily say that I am. And now there hasn't been a good reason. No one has come up with a good reason yet. But that I am catering to the needs of men in several different words. Now, here's the thing. There's no reason for a woman like me to say all of these positive things about men if they're not true and if men are evil. There's no reason. So either I have my facts completely wrong or I'm lying. But they know that I believe what I'm saying, and they don't understand why would I say such nice things about men.
Well,
this has been very confusing to people, but
Once again, I want you, because somebody may just come on this post and may just be getting on the call right now and say, well, who in the hell is she to even write a book called Man Leads, Women Follow? She doesn't know what the F she's talking about anyway. She don't know her history anyway. She's just talking like that. She's probably married to a white man, or she's some so-and-so, some kind of agent. Can you please give people just a little bit of background? We normally do this at the beginning of the show, but now that they're leaning in right now and they're calling us names and they're saying, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. Can you please give people a background, just a little bit of where you come from, why you wrote the book, and where you got the evidence to write the book, and that it wasn't just your, was it scientific facts that you were posting, or were you just posting your opinion?
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so my background?
Yes, your background.
Okay, so first of all, when I was born, my parents were very militant. Very militant. You know, I was born in 1976, and everybody around us was either a part of the Nation of Islam, Black Panthers, or something else. Okay? I'm not like coming at this with the naivete of somebody who does not know Black America. But you know, okay, so I have a very strong cultural and linguistic background. And I speak several languages, but I also know who I am. And there have been several aspects of my life that got me to where I am. You know, between traveling and the education of my daughters and the fact that I owned a trilingual international school for 8 years, I have become the leading multilinguistic childhood acquisition expert in the world. Okay, Google me if you want to. Google me. And I'm a cultural expert on specific cultures. I don't claim to be an expert on cultures that I do not and have not studied. If you ask me about Russian culture, I don't know. If you ask me about German culture, that's not my expertise. My expertise is in Chinese culture, African culture, African American culture, white American culture, European cultures, but specific countries within Europe, Moroccan culture, and Kenyan culture. I have some experience in Latin culture, but it's not my expertise. And the final cultures that I have become an expert on are the cultures of men and the cultures of women. So I approach the study of masculinity and femininity the same way I approach the study of other cultures. And I traveled for 2 years in 16 countries and interviewed 1,000 men and their families on how they live, what they do, what their practices are, how they love each other, and how they lead. None of these men were chauvinistic or oppressive in any way. I also took from a lot of facts about emasculation, which are mostly not published in English. And one of the reasons is because every single language has its own set of beliefs. And if you speak one language, you find that to be hard to understand. But there is a belief system that circulates through every language separately. It doesn't blend unless you're a person who owns different languages in your head. So our English language, whether you be in America, Canada, Australia, England, Nigeria, or South Africa, that language recycles certain beliefs. And if you were to try to research how femininity and women affect masculinity in English, you would not find much. Because in our system of belief, we don't care. If you want to look at more research on masculinity, you need to go to other cultures where men and masculinity are more respected and more thought of. So in Israel, for instance, there are studies, there are institutes that study masculinity and, you know, the effects of masculinity the effects of femininity on masculinity. And some of those publications are translated in English, but most of them are not. So we have a system of ignorance fluctuating. What I have done in my book is translate what I have learned through the world in English.
Hello?
Yeah.
I thought you were in mid-sentence.
No, I was just saying I translated what I learned to English because, you know, if we have a system that thrives on hating men, how much research, how much money is going to be put into the research of loving men or understanding men?
It seems like there would be tremendous room. There would be tremendous economic room there for that, but at the same time, from your philosophy, the family can make more money if the woman stays home, but that means that there's going to be less taxable income for the government to have.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Take a swallow of my good old pineapple juice. I talked to well, let me see if I got anybody on the line first. Who wants to? Oh, we got some hand raised. Let me take some calls. Caller from the 404-767. Your microphone is wide open. Can I get your name and where you're calling from, please?
Good evening, Khayr and Ro. This is Keoka calling from Atlanta.
Oh, hi, Keoka.
Hi. I have enjoyed the shows, the previous shows a lot. I'm enjoying the information that you all are sharing this evening. Well, I just the whole concept of what you guys are talking about in terms of the woman needs to be at home and somebody needs to be tending to these children. I have been in education since the mid-90s and worked with people before that since pretty much 88. These kids are suffering. Our educational systems are, there's really no words for it, and it's like so many of us are not even aware. The impact, you know, when you talk about the mother being at home, there is really no dollar amount. It's not about what salary you can bring in. It's about who you can be and what you can be to your children and your future. It's not, there is no dollar amount to that. When I think about my own upbringing, my family was fortunate enough to, you know, to have a situation where my mom could stay home until at least I was in high school. And there is no dollar amount on that benefit. And if we don't wake up and do something in these schools, I really don't know what's going to happen to us as a people.
It is very scary. And a lot of parents are just crossing their fingers and hoping that the school raises the children.
The school can't raise the children. You want me to?
The school cannot raise the children.
You want me to do in a classroom which you can't do at home with your own child? Come on now.
And how many kids are in that classroom?
Exactly. And that's the thing. They are starved for attention. When you cram 28 and 30 kids who, again, are not getting the attention because the people are not home, or in the other unfortunate circumstances where the people are home and still aren't caring and raising and growing up their children, it's they are all attention starved, and we have become a nation that supports negative behaviors, but and giving them attention just for the sake of the behavior.
Exactly. At my school, I owned a school for 8 years. I don't know if you knew that. At my school, we would not start the day until we would have the children line up in class, and the teachers would sit there. And the children would draw a picture of how much love they felt. It would be like a little chart, right? Then they stand in line, and we would hug them until they said, all right, I'm full. If we did not start the day like that, like literally, If we did not start the day like that, the whole rest of the day was a waste of time.
Mm.
Yep. What a wonderful practice. And that's the thing, now stuff like that has become inappropriate and stuff like that in the classrooms. It's like these kids are starving.
Mm-hmm. They're starving for attention. They're starving for affection. They're starving for
love. They want, just all of that. And so, when you talk about the roles and everything, I get that everybody may not be at a place in their life in terms of where they're ready to hear that and accept that and whatever. But if you can say all that you attach to what that's supposed to mean and what that's supposed to look like and whatever, and just listen to the fact that someone, like you said, somebody has to be at home with the kids.
Somebody be at home with the kids. And you know what else? According to my research, this is one of the things that I learned, and it's included in the book. The average amount of time that the parents in my study were physically holding their children per day in the optimal, healthy family lifestyle was 10 minutes a day. Now, 10 minutes does not seem like a lot, but 10 minutes is a long time to hold every single one of your children, even if you have just one. It's a lot of time to just sit there and concentrate. But that's what they were doing. If we can just teach parents just one step at a time, starting with that.
And that, but that's what it is. The parents, the mothers, we've been like, and you all have mentioned this in previous shows, we've become addicted to the lifestyle that second income offers. Well, no, y'all have got to make sacrifices now. You can't come out balling. You can't come out of college balling. It doesn't happen that way.
Right. and this lifestyle that you're talking about, I mean, it's just the whole second job is for the lifestyle. The whole second job is for the appearance. Yeah. And for the mothers that are single moms, we all need to put our feet down for the single mom, because everybody knows that the single moms need and deserve help. They should not be forced out into the workforce. They should not.
Parenting is not a single person job. I don't care what you say.
It is not. And gone are the days of the single mother being able to stay home. Single mothers back in the 80s were staying home with their kids.
Yep.
They have taken that away too. But that's unacceptable. That's what we need to be fighting for.
Exactly. And that's what it is. I have no ill feelings and nothing but support to the families of the victims of the police violence. I mean, just straight up violence and hunting. Separate and apart from that, we kill more of each other every day.
Tell it.
Than they ever will. And the bottom line, and bigger than the actual hand-on-hand violence that goes on between us, the fact that our people are no longer educating its youth is what's going to kill us ultimately, like in a way that hand-on-hand combat can't compare with.
Yeah, but when we say education, and I have learned this from all around the world, when we say education, we forget that we are supposed to educate our children on how to be properly loved and happy adults. Education is supposed to be a well-rounded word. Mm-hmm. And as parents, we think that we can send our kids to school to become educated because of the way we use that word.
Yeah.
A parent's job is to educate their children before they go to school.
True.
And the education of a child includes their physical, emotional, and intellectual nurturing. I am so tired of watching our children walk around unloved. I can't stand it anymore.
Yep. It's killing us.
Acceptable. is unacceptable, you know, let's talk about that first. Because if children walked around feeling love, people would be less attracted to killing them. Let's speak the truth here.
Absolutely. I mean, in college education, we've been kind of forced basically to offer all these online courses and programs. I have nothing inherently against them, but here I thought in the wake of some of these mass shootings and the violence that was going on, that there was going to be a shift, perhaps a shift of some responsibility in that, you know, we really need to encourage more human communication and face-to-face, not less.
Yeah.
But that's
More.
not happening.
More face-to-face, not less. So this is what I think is going to happen, because first we need to identify where the problems are really, and then we need to get to working.
Yeah.
Because we have always been here to serve. To all of the people in America, almost all of the people in America are supposed to serve.
Mm-hmm.
We like to make it a color thing, but this is everybody under a certain financial bracket. And those people, everybody, people of other colors under a financial bracket, they know that it includes them. They're just trying to act like they don't know.
Right.
But we are supposed to be servants of this country. We are not supposed to be valued. And in other countries, the sad part is, in other countries, they genuinely value human life.
Mm-hmm.
Across the board.
Yeah, we prefer to value the Kardashians, you know.
Yeah, you can say what you want to say about how many people killed the Mexican cartels and how they line people up and shoot them execution style. But guess what? The Mexican family is dirt poor on average.
Yep.
But the Mexican family is united. And nobody is going around disrespecting the Mexican family.
No. You don't see any of that. I want to speak on that too. That y'all made a very good point. When you value life more, that goes back to what Rose said. Like, there's no history for the police. Like, the police are not above programming from what they see on TV. So what do you think a white police officer in racist Ferguson, Missouri looks at? He looks at CNN day in and day out, and he's being programmed by that to be like, yo, first off, Missouri was the last state to abolish slavery out of the 48 states. Then he's watching and seeing 3 weeks ago that there was mass killings in Chicago and all over the whatever. And he even saw police officers, you know, were killing other blacks. And there was no movement by the Justice Department, Obama, what's the guy's name? Eric Holder. Nobody made a move. So the cop said, hey, this, you know, and this is, I guess it's acceptable. But you never, like you said, you never see some Mexicans or some Latinos getting shot like that. Does it happen? Sure it does. But ours is the one that gets publicized that we hate one another.
We're being disrespected. We're being disrespected, and the reason it's publicized, and everybody knows it, is because our lives are less valued socially.
Well, and that's in part because if you didn't know if you didn't know a couple of African Americans intimately, and all you knew was what you saw on TV, I would be a little afraid of us too.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So guess what? If we are not mirroring in public what's on TV, then that would not be able to be applied.
Right.
But we are. Ooh, that's the problem. Fathers are not letting their daughters go outside wearing what the average black woman is wearing on TV.
Correct.
Whoa.
Fathers in the home are not going to allow their sons to wear the skinny jeans that don't even just past the crotch.
They look ridiculous.
They're not going to allow that if the family is intact. All of this stuff goes back to the family. All of it goes back to the family. But guess what? I'm not just talking. I am the last person who's just talking because I have been escaping from this country since 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving and leaving and leaving because I just can't take it anymore. I'm not willing to just talk and sit in America at the same time. I'm getting older and older. I can't do that for y'all. But what I can do is make an actual change, or I'm out of here. If y'all want to come with me, you can. But I don't see the point. I'm either going to make a change or it's a very good effort to make a change, or I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have time to be talking. I need to be able to see if a change can be made.
Yes. Thank you, Keoka, for calling in. I got to get to the next caller. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Y'all take care.
Thank you.
Yay.
Bye.
The call-in number is 347-205-9089, 347-205-9089. If you got a comment on this subject, please call in 314-814. Your mic is open. Thanks for calling in to Man Leads Radio. Can I get your name and where you're calling from, please? Caller from the 314-814. Your mic is wide open. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I know that's Rebecca right there. I know that off the gate.
Yes. You're so bad. How are you doing, Ro?
Hi, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing fine. Hey, I'm so glad we're talking about this subject. I started school Monday, and of course, in a lot of ethics classes and one sociology class, and because I live 10 minutes away from the actual site in Ferguson. All of my professors have pinpointed me to be the somewhat of a spokesperson, I guess, in so many words. One, because one, because I'm black in a predominantly white college. Two, because of the location. So, we have to do speeches and all this stuff, and on the situation that's going on. Well, one thing that I definitely want to bring out is, as far as knowledge is concerned, it's been said, knowledge is power, and all. I don't believe that. You know why? Because there are so many people in the state of Missouri who have knowledge. There's so many people over where I live who have knowledge. There are a ton of people in Ferguson who have knowledge. They don't choose to use the power. That's the thing that they need to target, the power. The fact that they have action. Action is the very thing that they need to actually pay attention to. The fact that they have knowledge, you can have knowledge all day long. But then if you don't take the proper steps, which the steps are the act, that's the action right there. If you don't take the proper steps, then this is what happens. When I'm telling you that we hear silence, I almost got hit by a police car today taking my children to school because they were trying to catch this guy. I think he'd stolen a car or something. I don't know what happened, but it's like you can step outside and just feel the tension in the air. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But this is my point. No matter what, when Kayers gets online and he says stay in the home, so many people, so many women do not understand that. When he says it in a particular, when he types it, I guess if I can say it like that, when he types it in a particular tone, in so many words, then it's taken offensively. you know what? It's not taken offensively when the house is burning down and he's telling you to get your behind, excuse my expression, get your behind out the house. You don't stand there and say, well, you didn't say it the correct way. That it's not taken offensively then.
And that's what we are dealing with, a fire. The house is burning down.
Exactly. It's an emergency. And if you don't see the fact that the survival of your lineage, your family, right there in front of you, if you don't see that as an emergency, okay, stand back. That's fine. But there are others who feel that that's an emergency. It is to me. I'll be honest.
If your life is in danger, right? If your life is in danger, that's an emergency.
Exactly. But all of this nitpicking with the tone of the way you saying this and all of that stuff. Your man at home, he says it that particular way and you won't buy it. But then you get online with someone who, come on, let's call it state of state.
Or maybe no man at home is saying that.
Or maybe no man at home is saying that, which is the very reason why you need to get the book, pay attention, and not be offended by what the book is saying. To me, that makes sense all day long. I've read this book and believe me, I've had some hurt feelings because there were particular things that I did not know that I had been doing.
Like what?
Like, for instance, there was one thing in here. I'd actually I've written a note over to the side. Like, for instance, here it is. Okay, number 21 on page 44. We're saying not to expose her to profanity, violence, nastiness, or negativity. Okay, uncleanliness. Like, exactly what type of uncleanliness? Does it make sense?
Exactly what type of what?
Like nastiness. I was wondering if that was meaning like uncleanliness, like bodily uncleanliness. No,
nastiness like nasty human behavior.
Okay. Oh, okay. It goes with the profanity and violence and all. But you know what? And then okay, there was something else I wanted to say. I'm sorry, it kind of didn't have anything to do with that. I was online the other day, and this guy couldn't understand why it is that I would repost what Kaya would have online or whatever. He couldn't understand why it is that women need to stay in the house and they equate that to, you just stay in the house, you stay pregnant, and you cook and clean and all. This is my point, and this is a point that I had to explain to a friend of mine because I had actually started talking to him about that exact same thing. He says, well, women are strong and women are intelligent and this and that. That's true. But let's say you and I are standing on the front line in Ferguson. Now, when do you? Now he lives in Florissant. I'd asked him, I said, which Florissant is right there next to Ferguson. I'd asked him, I said, so when is it that it's more so cloudy because of the smoke bombs and all? He says at night. I said, okay. When is it more so peaceful? In the daytime? Which I don't agree with this whole hands up in the air and all this stuff. Yet and still, there are some who want to protest peacefully or whatever. One of the peaceful times in the daytime. Well, if you're going to protest as a woman, if I'm going to be out there protesting with you, let's say you and I are in a situation. If I'm out there protesting with you, we have our children out there. Does it make sense for both you and I to protest, and then all of a sudden all these smoke bombs are coming? I'm up here hurt, you're up here. How are we helping each other? When you come home from war, in so many words, you should have your bath water ran. You should have a home cooked meal. You should have a back rub. There are things that we can do women, that bring out our femininity, and it makes us feel so much more secure because we know that he will come home and protect us the more so. How can a woman fight that? How do you fight that? You're fighting yourself. And
but we don't know because we associate all of that niceness and giving and care with being weak and being taken advantage of. Because we don't know, we don't understand that the more we give the back rub and the bath water and the food to a good man, which I will say once again, Most men are good.
Exactly.
And the more we give those things, the more there is harmony throughout our entire family.
Exactly.
So, and I'm not saying this because I'm a doormat. I did not have this opinion my entire life. I used to be one of the women who believed that most men are going to try to oppress me.
Right.
That I was ignorant. But I'm not afraid of the truth, and I'm not afraid of being wrong either.
Exactly. I know you were saying that you when you were raised, you learned Islam, the Nation of Islam. You'd had studies in that or whatever. I did too, and it's funny because that's where I started actually learning the feminine side.
Right.
That's when I actually started learning humility and respectfully saying this so it doesn't hurt anyone's feelings. The womanly side or the submissive part of me. And it made me feel so much more beautiful and so much more secure within myself. I started fighting me at that point.
Well, I was a child. When I was born, my parents were in the Nation of Islam. And I was born into that. You know, and I guess maybe around age 5, they, stopped practicing Islam. But, I have always struggled with it because society told me and my sisters that was oppressive.
Right.
And so I rejected everything Muslim. I just rejected everything Muslim. Which was strange because from being on the inside looking at it, I didn't see anything wrong.
Right.
I didn't see anything oppressive, but I went with what society said anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I agree with all of any religion because I don't.
Exactly. Right.
I just don't. But I can speak the truth in the beauty and the harmony where it is.
Exactly.
Whether it's inside of a Christian home or a non-Christian home or a Muslim home or a different country, the truth is where the truth is.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
Exactly. There's truth and falsehood in everything, and there is truth in the Nation of Islam. One thing I will say, of course, I don't agree with oppression and all, but I did learn to be more of a woman when I did study that.
Right.
So I will.
Well, you did what is obvious, and we looked at it from the point of view of the Muslim woman, but this is the same point of view of the Japanese woman, the Chinese woman, the Thai woman, the Italian woman, the Latin American woman. It's the same point of view, and the more exposure you get, the more you realize that women are doing this all over the world.
Exactly.
In developed and non-developed countries, in places where women are supposed to be oppressed, and places where we don't think women are oppressed, women in all these places are in touch with their femininity.
Exactly.
Except us.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's very, very, very evident. It's evident in our clothing. It's evident in the way we stand and the fact that we don't smile. But basically the things that you all have brought out. But, I'll say this. With the fact that you all did bring those out, I have been definitely paying attention to myself and to the people around me. Different women, the way they stand, when they're at the grocery store, making sure they don't lean or seeing if they, just how they stand and how they tend to their children and, the wording they use and all. This book has brought out so much. You hit so many great points. You are definitely a great writer. Definitely.
Thank you, but you know what it is? These are the truth and the wisdom of almost every part of the world wrapped up in a book.
Right.
It's not, I wrote it down, but I took everybody's wisdom and put it into a book.
Yeah, but you know what? We as women, those who are actually feminine beings and who actually appreciate who we are, we piggyback. We will definitely piggyback over your spirit, and the reason is because you had the courage to do it. So many people have not had the courage to do it. They wanted to do it, and they tried to do it, and maybe it didn't come across well. You wrote it well, and you did a great job, and I appreciate you for that.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Yes, sir.
This is a dream come true.
Next caller from the 850-702. Your mic is wide open. Can I get your name and where you're calling from, please?
Hi, Coach Hyder. This is Aisha. I'm calling from Florida, Tallahassee.
Hi.
How y'all doing tonight?
Hi, Aisha.
Hi, how are you?
I am excellent. I just first, before I even get started, I want to thank both of y'all for this show tonight, and I would love to thank the last two callers because their insight was beautiful. And Rebecca, I don't fight it. I don't fight being a woman ever. I love it. I love my feminine side. I feel you. But honestly, I just want to say something small. Just as far as my kids are concerned, I've always been a single mom, and it's never really been in my power to be able to just stay home like I want to. But one thing I have always done is I have always went hard for my kids. So, like, I would always work nights when they were in school and then stay up during the day and, like, be a classroom mom. Actually, right now, what I do for my daughter's second grade class is I go in the morning once a week, and for 3 minutes we meditate.
Mm-hmm.
We just take 3 minutes to just love ourselves and think happy thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And we stretch out, and it's awesome.
We need more moms like that. We need more moms like you.
I didn't used to be like this. My children will tell you I used to be hell I was. But I'm gonna tell you, the gentleman who's hosting this show, the reason why I'm listening to it because he sent me the invitation is just reading the things that he would put onto Facebook helped me to change myself and my way of thinking. Deep down inside of myself, it was always, under the surface, it was always there to be more of a lady, but I was so used to just doing it by myself that I had hardened myself.
Right.
And it was nice to hear that there are still men out there who want to make me feel safe and protect me. And because I opened myself up to that, I finally have someone who recognizes that also. And it's a very good thing. And I haven't read your book yet, but you best believe after the last critique I got on it from Miss Rebecca, I'm going to be copying that book sometime this week. So
yes, it is amazing. It's just an amazing thing to have, to own. I read the book weekly, and I wrote it. Because
I ain't mad at you.
Yeah, like Rebecca said, it's a manual, and it's just, I just look forward to hearing your response from it.
Well, I definitely will because I checked your Facebook page out, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna see about it. I'll definitely give you some type of response on it. But I'm just thankful for all the information I've been given tonight, and I totally agree that we got to get back in the house for these kids. Like, our children slipping away. I have no idea. That's like, you know what I'm saying? I have no idea. This is what I think. This is what I think the problem is. I think that people aren't selfless enough anymore. Women are so caught up in how they look, they're not thinking about their babies. They're worrying about the wrong stuff. They're worried about the wrong stuff. Right. And I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about my children's grammar. I'm worried about their attitudes towards the rest of the world. I want them to just walk in love, like.
You know what I thought of, though? A lot of money is generated by people uniting. And I thought, a few months ago, I thought of mothers having a network where they buy things from each other and trade things with each other.
You know what? Can I tell you something? I was watching The View at work today. I'm sorry, The Talk at work today, and Tyler Perry was on there, and he was talking about something like that. And it's weird that you would say that and allude to that. And I don't know, things have just been happening interestingly today. I think this is just another little domino falling into the fate of place of fate or something. That's interesting that you would say that, because evidently he has some movie out called The Single Mom Club. I apologize because I don't have cable. We don't really watch television because I don't like my TV.
I haven't watched TV in 11 years. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I work in a nail shop. That's the only reason why I saw it today.
Okay.
But yeah.
So what happened?
Well, so evidently has a movie called The Single Mom Club. In the movie, the ladies all depend on themselves, like as a group of women, to help each other out, to give each other a break. Like, for example, but one night a week, one mother keeps everybody's kids while the other 4 mothers go out and enjoy themselves. And every week they take a turn, like they take a shift every week with everybody's kids. And honestly, I'm going to have to go buy the movie because I think it's a wonderful concept. But it just shows like women bonding together. And in all honesty, there's no reason for our sons not to be proper men without. Don't get me wrong. Do not get what I'm fixing to say wrong, because I know that men belong in the house with another man. There's no way I can teach him. I cannot teach him how to be a full man, but I can instill in him the values that he needs to go forth to be respectful enough to learn from a real man and actually learn and understand what he has to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
what I was thinking of is more of a black family network. It doesn't have to be black, but it probably would benefit black families the most.
Well, I think it should start out that way, definitely. I mean, maybe later on down the line, we could, let some people, well, I'm biracial, so, I mean, honestly, I don't know how to just come at this, but personally, I think that...
We always need to remember, as black Americans, that we are only about 13%.
And this is true. And then,
like, I have to fair. If we're going to be strong at something, we need to have numbers.
Yes, you're right. And isn't it funny how that 13%, we control so many dollars circulating, and we're such a little amount of people. Like, people of color, period. Like, I work with Asian people now, and the way they do things is so... I'm thankful they let me in and just let me see how they do stuff, because I'm about to take what I know and just move with it. Because I see why they succeed as a group of people. I really do. Yeah.
And that's what I'm referring to. I want to do something that is inclusive of men and women who are trying to give support to the family. Because what we have been doing is expecting the government to care. They don't care.
No, they don't.
They're never going to care, and we're not even supposed to be doing well. So
no, we're not. Not are correct. 110,000% correct.
And when I say we, I'm talking about everybody under a certain financial category.
And I agree 100% wholeheartedly, because my mom's side of the family, they were not affluent at all, and the stories that they told, like you said, everybody was a servant. Everybody's here to serve under a certain income bracket. It's made very obvious, very painfully obvious daily.
Right. Some people are now in the media. It's obvious that there are certain groups that are used as scapegoats. But the whole picture is that everybody under a certain financial bracket is a servant to this country. And we don't necessarily need our incomes to improve to help each other. Everybody thinks everything costs money. And things cost some money. But babysitting is extremely expensive. So if somebody helps you with caring for your children and they're trading a service, that's saving a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
So let's think about that. Can you inbox me on Facebook?
I will be happy to inbox you on Facebook, because I think I will be happy to inbox you. Yes.
All right.
And it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, too.
Thank you, Aisha.
It's always a pleasure.
All right, caller from the 416-845. Your microphone is wide open. Can I get your name and where you're calling from, please?
Hi, my name's Stephanie. I'm calling from Toronto.
Stephanie.
And, hey, what up, what up? Yeah, I didn't catch the show at the very beginning, but I just want to know if you spoke about daycare at all. Like if you spoke about it. Oh, okay. Well, I started a job in May. At the time, my daughter was she was over a year, almost 2 years old. She turned 2 in July. And the very first day I brought her there, she was terrified. Like, I mean, like, terrified. Like, she was trembling. And that kind of made me worry because I had never left her in a strange place for hours before. Mm-hmm. So when I left, I just got like a panic attack because I couldn't take it. Like, I wanted to quit because I couldn't stand seeing her like that. Until this day, she always cries when she goes there, and she always cries when I pick her up. And they're looking at me like I'm doing something wrong. I'm trying to explain to them, like, I've never just dropped my child somewhere randomly and left her there.
Oh, they're trying to make you be less sensitive as a mother?
Yeah, like, oh, don't worry, she'll get used to it. Or they start to question my parenting. Mm-hmm. Because they see her crying and the other kids are just acting, quote unquote, normal according to what they see as normal. You know, also
the other kids are detached.
Yeah, I don't want my daughter to be like that. I want her to be like, oh, whatever. I expect that my family's gonna leave me somewhere randomly, and to me, it's strange. Like, how obviously I would expect the baby to cry. Like, I breastfed her for almost a year. Like, I don't know.
Are you from another country?
Yeah, Canada.
Okay, I can tell. Listen, in this country, motherhood is regarded as being weak.
I'm sorry. I told myself after my contract's done, I can't put her back into that situation.
Yeah, and it's not the daycare. It's not the daycare. All of them are the same. They're probably not doing anything to her. It's just the fact that they're trying to emotionally detach her. This is what we do.
Yeah,
and we're having a conversation about how mothers need to be more nurturing and more bonded with their children and their family. So you're on the right page. You're doing a good job.
Like, I don't understand how you can not want to stay home with your kids. Like, for the first week,
we're from America. We've been brainwashed.
No, I'm saying in Toronto here, some of the mothers are like that as well. Like, here we get subsidized daycare, so I don't pay for my daycare.
Right.
Like, some of the mothers, they are detached as well. It's like, okay, some of them look at me like, why are you still breastfeeding your kid? Like, shouldn't you be working? Like, don't you want to go out there? And I'm like, no. You know, but no, like, I don't want to be under stress and then have to come home and feed my child. Like, I'd rather just stay with my child. And they're still young, right?
What's your
Stephanie,
don't you want your freedom?
Well, when you're working for someone else, are you free?
No, I'm just saying, that's what people are going to say.
I know what you're saying, but that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're working for someone else, are you free? Because how can you be somewhere knowing your child somewhere else and not knowing what's happening to them?
Yeah, but a child has become an ornament.
Just like an afro. I wanted to sneak that in. I'm glad you said that. Hold on for a second.
Like an afro.
No, listen, because as I'm going through pictures right now, and I'm looking at, I just typed in Ferguson riots, Ferguson, Michael Brown. There's like the skinniest black girl I've seen, and she's got the biggest afro, and she's standing directly in front of the line of the police before Captain Jackson came in. So this is when they had all their riot gear in, and she's probably a $105 soaking wet, and she's got her camera, her phone is in her hand, and she's holding up a sign, and she's screaming about justice for Mike Brown. And you can just look at her like everything's matching, like the t-shirt, like it's such a fad now. It's such a fad to go jump in front of the camera because this is where the most cameras are. And so now somebody's going to say, well, oh, look, I'm not making generalizations. I seen a female jump in front of the camera just so she can be in front of the camera. If she doesn't have a PhD, and if she's not a lawyer volunteering, because the lawyer that they have, listen, they're shopping the lawyer that they have for Mike Brown is Trayvon Martin's lawyer. So he got off. So Trayvon Martin's killer got off. Zimmerman got off. So why would I go back and hire the same dude? And every time there's a press conference, you have the same black women standing behind the chief of police and the captain of the state troopers. Listen, a lot of these people are doing what I call hoe testing. So ladies, the reason I'm saying stay at the house, because you're participating in a game that is not set up fairly from the gate. It's not set up like you. If we're playing Monopoly, let's say me and Ro and Stephanie are playing Monopoly, but I get to roll the dice and go around the board 4 times or 5 times and buy up property and do all this stuff and pass go, and I don't let Stephanie and Ro go, and then I let Stephanie and Rose sit down and roll the dice, it's impossible for them to win or even expect the game to be played fairly. So how is it that the same women, every press conference, are standing, these same black women, and they nod their head like it's a song? They're nodding their head to get you to nod your head. And that's why I'm saying the healthy black women who do believe in their spirituality and their feminism, and that they rule the domain of magic. They rule the domain of magic. Go home and do some rituals. And I just posted something on my page where Malik Zulu Shabazz, who is he's like the organizer of the new Black Panther Party, and you know, the black conscious people who are on the ground, and he says somebody claimed that it was magic, but it wasn't magic, it was us. You clown, Malik Zulu Shabazz, you clown. If magic put you there, like if he got killed on the 9th and you didn't get there until 2 or 3 days ago where you could get some control, where were you on the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th? Your flight couldn't get flown in? You didn't have the money to get flown in? What were you doing? You know, so, and then you're going to say somebody said it was magic. Well, guess what? If somebody said it was magic, that all of a sudden the streets were calm last night, then I want to say thank you to the women who did say, I'm going to stay home across the country and I'm going to do my rituals, light my candles, say peace for Mike Brown, say peace for his family, and ask that the streets be calmed. Because okay, is he the leader in there right now? Yes. Is that good to see? Yes. Is he organizing? That's good to see. But now it's just as ridiculous for him to try to take all credit. Like he says, I'm in control and I'm controlling the flow of traffic. Well, if you're so omnipotent, where were you on the 8th or the 9th when they got shot? That's my point. So I want to make that very clear that the magic is happening and people in Ferguson are feeling the magic because they're talking about it. Now, when somebody wants to talk down on it, it doesn't matter. It's like somebody saying, I don't believe the sun's going to rise tomorrow in the east. Who gives a flying you know what? Who gives a flying EFF if you don't believe it's going to come up tomorrow? The sun's going to keep coming up, the earth's going to keep rotating, and everything's going to keep going on in this universe. whether you want to take credit or not. So I'm not a credit
I feel
whore.
like a lot of people in our community feel so much pressure just to exist. Like, yes, this happened. I don't want to be cold about it, but he's gone now. And it's not something that hasn't happened or hasn't been happening. Like in Toronto, like we had one summer called the Year of the Gun. And after that, they created police programs and did all this stuff because it was just crazy. These youths were going out randomly shooting people. Like most of the people that get killed is like because random. They don't even hit their target. And he's gone now. Like I put on my Facebook, you know, I want to do a community ritual, and if anyone's interested, you know, contact me. Only one person contacted me. But if you say, let's go rally protests and, you know, go buck wild on the street, everyone's like, yeah, like, you know, like, people want to get hype. But nobody wants to just, I don't know. It's really crazy. But in terms of what you're saying about women staying home, I agree. Because I also, in my job, I'm the garden coordinator where I work. But we also have a summer camp program with youth. And my boss asked me to work there this week. These children are crazy. They're crazy. And it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's partially their environment and how they're raised. Like, they'll be doing something incorrect.
How they're not raised.
And how they're not raised. They'll do something incorrect. And when I go to correct them, it's like they're terrified. Like, it's like they're shocked. Like, they weren't expecting me to say, don't do that, or why, or question, like, why are you doing that? And I see the staff members watching as these kids like hit each other, talk down to each other, and even in the conversations, like the staff are not even listening to hear what they're saying if it's inappropriate or not. Like I heard one of the youth saying something inappropriate to another child, and I'm like, listen, I don't want to hear any of that. Like, just stop and don't say that.
You know, the whole thing is an emergency. The whole country is in an emergency, and we are literally walking around. In you know, one of the reasons why there's not a lot of action until something horrible happens is because we cannot handle the fact that we're living in an emergency.
Yes, we don't see it as an emergency because a lot of people are living a TV lifestyle. Like what they see on TV.
Subconsciously, we have to know it's an emergency because it doesn't feel right. Something is very wrong. We know how people treat us. We know how we treat people. We know how it feels. It's very wrong. When you are living in a society where you pass people up on the street and you don't acknowledge them as if they don't exist, something is very wrong.
Or if you acknowledge somebody and they look at you like, why are you talking to me? Who are you?
Something is very wrong. Humans in this country are asleep.
On their phones. I wanted to add the sentence, people are asleep on their phones. That's all. I mean, everything, the phone is such a decoy to not talk to someone that it is bananas. Like, I know I was looking.
Have you guys seen the movie Her?
H-E-R?
What is it?
Yes.
No.
It's called Her, H-E-R, by Spike Lee Jones. Oh my gosh.
No.
That was an eye-opener in terms of technology and our psychological, emotional state and the level that it could take us to. It was pretty terrifying. Like, it's not gory or anything like that, but like the storyline and just like how the people in that movie were interacting with each other and technology was crazy.
It's very difficult for me to watch. It is very difficult for me. I don't have any problem with admitting that it is very difficult for me to live in this country. It is a stifling feeling, a constant feeling of being frustrated because I know, and you know, that it's not necessary to live like this.
No, it's not.
So, you know, the more that we know that it's not necessary, the more that we realize that everybody is wasting their time.
Yeah, even when it comes to nutrition as well. Like how I see, like a lot of the youth, they abuse their bodies. They don't see it as a priority. Like, why should I care what I put in my mouth? I feel fine now. I'm okay now. Or this is what I've been eating. This is what my mom gives me. And that just goes to show how valuable parenting is. Because whatever their parents are giving them, they see as right. Like, why would my mother or father give me something that's bad for me?
And that's scary. That's scary. Because parents, like we say on every show, parents are, in our society, parents are borderline depressed. People are not happy with their lives. People argue with me daily because they don't even know what happiness is. They don't have a frame of reference. People in our society think that happiness comes from your perception. This is not true. But parents are passing this false, borderline depressed happiness onto their kids. And those are the children that you see when you drop your child off to the daycare.
Mm.
Like, how could, I don't know, it's strange to me. These parents are like, oh, bye, hurry up, go in. I'm like, what? I'm standing there, I'm late for work. I'm like, okay, bye. I'll be back. No. Like, just giving her the pep talk. Like, it's more for me, for myself, because I can't handle it. You know, like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And you're supposed to not be able to handle it. You and your children are supposed to have a strong bond. You and your children, your man, all of you are supposed to be close. But we don't encourage that. We encourage for everyone to just separate. Children are supposed to be separate from parents. Parents are supposed to be separate from each other. Everybody is supposed to be separate. And everybody's supposed to only think about themselves. And then we wonder, what's wrong with the police shooting people in the face? They only think about themselves too.
Yeah. It's true. Like, when I was growing up, the police, like, there wasn't that much, even though people say there was violence, there wasn't that much police brutality or police violence, like, when I was, a younger child. Mm-hmm. It was more, like, that wouldn't be their first reaction to shoot somebody, because they kind of knew you, because they were surveilling the community so hard, and they would talk to you, and there's more conversation going on than there is now. Right. You know, and
so because everybody's in fear.
Yeah, and even when if they knew your parents, then they would just talk to the parents. Like, now you don't see the parents, or the parents don't want to be seen.
Well, the parents are at work. They drop the kids off at school, remember?
Wow.
Yeah, but even if you were to call them and speak to them, they don't want to have an interaction with you.
But the parents only do text now.
They only do text.
They only do texting now.
Right.
Like, on a final note, like, when I was younger, my mom, she stayed home with us, like, during elementary school, and she was on social assistance, but she was way happier. Like, she was a yeller, but I can say my mom was more relaxed. Like, when she started to work, she just became, like, I don't mean to say it's about my own mom, but she became the devil.
Well, you know what? That's funny, because I wanted to say earlier that in Japanese culture, when the wives go to work, that's called devil wife.
What?
And, wow. Yeah, when the wives go to work, they refer to those women as devil wives, because they don't have any more patience. They turn masculine.
No, oh my gosh, no patience, zero.
Yeah, they don't have any more patience. They forgot about their feminine nurturing. So the Japanese men do not want their wives to go to work, because they know that their personalities will change. They're going to be devil wives.
Whoa.
Wow. Yeah, it's like that. I'm experiencing that even to this day. My mom has 2 jobs, and it's like she's addicted. Because my brother, both of us,
I don't know what it is. I really don't. I think that's maybe she feels that that's all she has. Because my brother and I are both grown, but yet she has. My mom had 3 jobs at one point. I begged her to quit one. I'm like, Mom, just quit one. Like, this is just like it's not necessary. So she quit the one. She quit the one job because I went to work with her during like one of her jobs. I'm like, why are we here? I'm like, I'm leaving. She's like, oh, well, you're not. I'm like, no, let's go. Like, it was craziness. It was crazy.
Well, let me tell you what. You can tell your mom that is called oniyome.
Oniyome.
Yep. Double wife.
Double wife. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. No, but it's so true. It's so true. It's turned you into a monster.
I gotta get to the next caller.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Y'all over here just chopping it up. All right, we got one more caller to take. If you're on the line and you're listening through the computer, you're gonna need to call in and listen to the last caller. 347-205-9089. 347-205-9089, and press 1 if you would like to have yourself heard. I do see a couple people who just came on and press 1 because they want to be heard, so I'm going to get to you too. First it's going to be the 817, then it's going to be the 909, and then we're going to see if we're going to have anybody after that. But in 4 minutes, it's going to stop streaming online. We want to hear everybody's feedback and opinions and their thoughts. We love to hear from somebody who's in the Ferguson area. If you're in St. Louis and you have a comment, I would really, really, really like to hear what you have to say. Caller from the 817-703. Your microphone is wide open. Can I get your name and where you're calling from, please?
Hi, my name is Natty Ray, and I'm calling from Dallas, Texas.
Thanks, Natty Ray.
Hi. How you doing? I'm calling because one, I loved your post, and I put it up on my Facebook, and I got a lot of backlash from a lot of different sisters on my page. Some sisters got so mad at me for reposting that they deleted me off their friends list. But I feel like, as a mother, like today I'm 33 years old, and I have 3 children, and I cannot be on the front line. It wouldn't make any sense. If something happens to me, I'm taken away from my children. And I'm married. I've been married to my husband for 15 years, okay? But, you know, the first thing I said to this one sister said, it doesn't make any sense that I leave my family and take away their mother, their nurturer, for something that I feel. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Okay, something I feel that should be my husband and man should be taken care of. Now, see, here's my thing. If I was single and if I didn't have any children, it would make more sense to me. I feel like it should be a balance in everything. I'm not single. I have children, so it's not my place. The first thing I did when I heard of the incident was I start doing my rituals, okay? But, you know, I think in the other call, the call before,
90 seconds.
Person, she was talking about how women, you know, they feel like they need to be a part of the movement. And we are a part of the movement. We've always, as African people, as Black people, we've always been part of any movement in our society. However, everybody has their own role depending on what's going on.
60
so
seconds.
To say that, you know, we've been taught, you know, a certain way to think because we're here in America, I think it's somewhat of a generalization. My mother was a Christian, and she's from Texas, but I grew up in California, and she lived in California. We lived in California for about 30 years. I was born here and then left. However, you know, she had very selfish traditions where she cooked, she cleaned, and she went to work. I went to school. I knew when Mama came home, she was going to cook. And 5 days out the week, we had a hot meal. Maybe on Saturday, she didn't feel like cooking. And my mother was married, not to my father, but to my stepfather, who she's still married to. So that's what I saw. And that's what I'm doing with my children. And I see a lot of other families, you know, that do the same thing. And maybe because I'm from California, I have a different point of view when it comes to the Black community because I grew up in an upper middle class community. So I'm kind of detached when it comes to the way most Black women see things. Like, I don't think that it's a humongous issue in our community that women are single, because every woman I know in my family and my friends, they are with their mate. They have strong family units. Everybody in my mother's family is married. So I think some way it's a generalization when you say that this is what they're doing and this is how we see the world because we're being brainwashed. And, you know, I'm going to make another point, and then I'm going to let you talk. But I'm in school for my master's in psychology. And I was just telling my professor that I think that, you know, it needs to be a law in how we raise our children. And because I'm talking about like an authoritative parenting style versus authoritarian parenting style, which is very similar, slightly different. And if we can have the whole world understand how we communicate and deal with one another as a people and as parents, then we won't have situations like the Trayvon Martin case or the Michael Brown, because it would be everybody has a value system, everybody has the same morals, everybody has the same understanding. So it's not just that, you know, these things are not out there, because, you know, different ways of how to raise your children, they're out there. It's what people choose. What people choose and what people want to believe. And everybody has their own choice, whether they know it consciously or subconsciously.
Everybody does have their own choice, but everybody does not know it. And this is the problem. People don't exercise their choices. They don't know what their choices are. They're not interested in their choices. These are all problems. Okay, but to lash out and make generalizations and say, well, it's not our fault, it's the oppressors, to some extent, is not right.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
What I'm saying.
I'm with you 1,000%. That right there. It's like anybody who just like does the whole victim complex. That means you make the other person the villain, you make yourself the victim, and then you sit around and wait in what I call the Messiah syndrome, where you wait on somebody to come in and save you. This is really, and I'm going to say this, y'all be like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I'm not insulting anybody's religion or nothing, none of that. But that old school religion is what's got them jammed up. And every time they screaming for Jesus, and I'm sorry, screaming for justice, I'm talking about the Black Panthers, the Nation of Islam. I'm talking about everybody that's down there. I'm talking about they screaming for justice. And you know good and well that the two things that you want to happen can't happen tomorrow. You're stuck in that Jesus coming back for me, do it all, take it away in one whop. You're stuck in that the wrong format of Jesus. Jesus was all about the Christ in you, awakening for you. He wasn't about just I'm not going to do nothing until Jesus come back, because the two things that people want to happen are not going to happen. Let me just be very matter-of-factly. The police officer, the police officer who has fled the state without being charged, who does not have to come back if he does not want to, and there's no guarantee that he's even in the country, but he's being protected because he's a member of the whatever, the little lodge, the little thing, the Sacred Order of Police Officers. So they have their thing, and he's protected wherever he's at. They already raised like what, $21,000 or $31,000 for the police officer who was accused, and that's one. He's not gonna come back and just say, look, I'm gonna kill myself, because that's what everybody really wants. Like most of the Black people, to them, justice is they want him assassinated, or they want him to end up dead somewhere. That's what they want. That's not going to happen. Two, the trial will not even happen in Ferguson. You heard it here first on Man Leaves Radio, because there's so much media coverage and the town is so small that the trial will not even happen in Ferguson, Missouri. And if it did, you wouldn't have but one black person on the jury because nobody's a registered voter. They're only gonna remember to be on the jury. You have to be a registered voter. They're looking for your voice. VO in vote is the VO in voice. So you haven't expressed your voice through voting or through political means. The officer is not going to kill himself. Nobody can find him and kill him. So what justice are you looking for? And then you have the same sorry-ass lawyer who couldn't even get Michael Zimmerman convicted.
That's the first thing I said.
You couldn't even get.
Why are you going to take a lawyer that lost?
He lost.
Why are we taking a lawyer that lost?
Because he wants the publicity, because he made a lot of money. He made a lot of money off of Trayvon Martin going on TV shows. So like when they asked Trayvon Martin's mom and daddy to come on a TV show, you have to pay them. So since he's the attorney, he brokers the deal. So he's now an agent. He's an agent. Like in Hollywood, you can't do a movie deal without an agent, which is normally an attorney. So, and they talk to one another because most of them are, especially black attorneys in North America, most of them are Alpha Phi Alphas and members of the Boule. So they're talking to one another. They're talking to one another. So that's how he didn't get picked. He picked himself and was like, hey, you know me, don't you? And look at Michael Brown's mother and father. Do they look like they have money to afford an attorney to go up against the state? They do not. They do not. And then, as Rose said earlier, let's look at the intelligence factor. Did you know that? I know she was emotional, and I know she was, upset when her son got killed. But she even said, if anybody was going to kill him, let it be me. His life was mine to take. What kind of craziness is that? Look how deranged that we.
Listen. Even if she's not intelligent, that does not take away from she is the mother of Mike Brown.
She is.
And what she says that she's still in mourning and loss. Yesterday she was just fussing and yelling at her son. Okay, not thinking she was going to lose him. He just graduated from school, and so you don't do that.
No. I'm not throwing her under the bus, but I'm looking at it realistically to say that anything that comes out of your mouth when you're emotional is indicative of your upbringing. When you're emotional, indicative of you being raised in an upper class family. You didn't come up in the poverty that she did. You would never stay in those apartments that she stayed in. So what you would say as a mother who had a child would be indicative to your education level, your relationships that you have had. All of that is indicative of when you say something emotional. So don't you get emotional and think that I'm throwing her under the bus and saying that I'm making some generalized statement. As Ro told me earlier.
What I mean is.
That's why you have to listen. That's why you have to listen. That's why you have to listen and don't assume.
Okay. And I want you to listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying that she is in the mourning state. So no matter what type of education she has at this moment in time in her life, she just lost a child.
We all don't mourn.
She was going to this stage, and she was going to different, especially as a woman, which you cannot, understand. Her hormones are raging. And if something happens to my child, I don't know what I would say. My child, not only did he die, but he was shot down, execution trial, in the head. That is horrible. You don't want to think of your child dying like that. I lost my first son, okay? I lost my first son when I was 19 years old. And I had a miscarriage, a late miscarriage, and he died in my arms. Okay? Nobody understands how it feels to lose a child unless you lost a child, especially when you have to bury them. So what you go through emotionally, it doesn't really, it has nothing to do with your education. She could have said anything. I mean, I've heard people who have more education than me say some things that I've never heard. I would never want to reiterate. So that's not fair. I'm just saying. But I appreciate you guys taking my time. I don't want to hold up call too much longer. But I just wanted to say that I know how to shoot a gun. My husband makes sure that I know how to shoot a gun. We have, but I think it's important for, if you're a mother, to stay at home, and I totally agree with that. And to learn the ritual.
Thank you. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Caller from the 909. Your microphone is wide open. Can I get your name and where you're calling from, please?
Hi, this is Tiffany. I follow you on Facebook.
Thank you, Tiffany.
I'm from California. Hi, everybody. I can only, I have 3 sons. One of them will be 19. One is 3, and my middle son passed away a couple of years ago. And then I can only talk. I don't have a husband or anything. I'm a single mom. I came from a single, parent background. Basically, it was like my mother and my grandmother raised me. My dad was in and out, out of jail my whole life. And I know, I didn't grow up like in the projects or anything like that. My grandmother basically made sure I, went to private school and did the best that they could. But if I wanted to step outside and do me, I still did it. But being a parent that lost a child, and I've seen my child take it, their last breath, I know it hurts. It's like the world stands still right then and there. You can't see, you can't hear, you just blank. And I was here in California because I grew up here, so I was here when they had, the riots when they had out here. I was young, I was in high school, and I never forget everybody was, going up and thrifty, CVS, taking everything. People was running down the street with couches, and, people were taking stuff. It was really, really bad. When I was younger, we didn't even put it together like, okay, this is what happened. It was just people stealing stuff. When I look at the situation now down here, the first thing I heard was they were down there taking rims. And I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? Because I really wasn't watching to see what was going on. I heard and like, you need to look and see what's going on. And I'm with you on the ritual thing because I recently learned about rituals and learned about a lot of things. And it does make a lot of sense. To me, it does. Now, the name calling, and I feel like it was like cyberbullying that they were doing with you, I was just shaking my head because a person can't have their opinion. Because there's a lot of cyberbullying. You know what I mean? It's just like anybody, if you see somebody doing good, somebody has something to say about it. If you see somebody doing bad, somebody has to say something about it. So I feel that the ritual thing and having a person, try to show them peace and help, and like you said, do the ritual so that they can help that, so Michael can basically, try to bring peace into the city. I believe in it. But, having parents, my mom and my grandmother from Shreveport, Louisiana, you couldn't say nothing like that to them. They think I'm the devil.
Right.
So I was at the house today, and I was speaking up on it, and it, I tried, and I basically got booed up out the house in the rain. Here, take your baby and go. So if I bring up the topic, it's an issue or whatever, but I mean, I just don't get it. I believe in it. I started it. I had to do it basically for my son, you know what I mean, for my father, because, literally my dad committed suicide. Like, he got out of prison. I was pregnant with my 19-year-old, and he committed suicide. So being, basically having depression from that, I've always been up and down with, depression and different issues, just, being a single mom. But I just was basically calling about, I call it cyberbullying. And I just want to let you know that I believe in what you were saying, and it's working. It has worked for me so far, being a little bit more peace in my life. And I feel like I flow a little bit better. And I just feel like hopefully something good will happen down there. But like you said, I don't believe that, when they go to court, it's not going to be there. I already been believe that man is gone somewhere. He's probably somewhere in Canada, somewhere. They got him up out of here.
Right. He chilled.
So they had somebody, what's his name? Tommy something that's on, he's always on YouTube. Tommy Sawyer.
Sotomayor.
He's a black dude.
Tommy
The one
Sotomayor.
that's always, he's talking about like he don't never be around black folks, this and that. Well, he went down there. He drove down there to an address. Did you see that? Did you see it? Did you look it up? He went down there to an address they had for the cop that shot Michael.
Oh no, I
And
didn't.
he showed up there.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he recently went over there, and it was like these two white ladies came to the door, and basically he was like, look, we don't know nothing about nothing, and he don't live here. So, you know, I guess I tried to give out an address and whatever, but he doesn't stay there. I just, you know, I feel really bad for the mom, you know, and I think what she was trying to say was, you know, you know how black women are, you know, I made you. You know, they get mad at you. I remember my mom, they cuss you out, they get mad at you, and then it's like, I made you, I take you out this world. I think she meant something like that.
I'm sure.
You know, kind of like that saying when she said what she said. You understand what I'm saying?
Totally. I totally. Listen,
you know,
I totally get that, and I'm not. That's like I said. The last caller took me out of context whatsoever and just jumped the fence.
No, I'm not taking you out.
I'm talking about the last caller. The last caller. The last caller.
I know what she was trying to say, and I know what the lady was trying to say too. Because if you look at the mom, I didn't even know that was his mother when she was, you know, out there, and, you know, when she was first talking and everything, and she looked distraught and whatever. Then a couple of days later, you look like they kind of like, okay, it looked like they had somebody like a piece. They had somebody talk to her. To me, it looked like the dad ain't in with the mama. It looked like, you know, when this happened, they pulled them together real quick.
That's right.
I was looking at that.
That's
they pulled them together real quick.
That's a whole nother, and just like the Trayvon case, the mother and father are not together because the first cat who held up the sign, he says a police officer just killed my son Michael Brown. He was the stepfather. So, and the picture that when they're standing side by side in the church, and I mean, still big up to Michael Brown Sr. For, like, hold on for a second.
You don't see no warmth there.
Hold.
You don't see no warmth there.
Right, you don't see any warmth there. You don't see any warmth there, but big ups for him, even if they did say, y'all need to come stand together for the cameras. Like, where's the stepfather? Like, the stepfather's been the one feeding Michael Brown. Why couldn't he be, you know, be there? Because this is who they're going to try to name them. The whole thing is going to go to some civil rights suit. They've already told them how much money Trayvon's parents got, and this is what we're going to try to do for you, because we can't hang this police officer in this town because he's related to such and such and such and such. But we're going to have to go through with the mockery of a trial, and then we're going to come back through a civil trial, and then we'll give you a couple $1 million, and then it'll already be like a year and a half gone by, and then you can, you know, you're going to make some money for making appearances on television shows. It's going to be played out exactly just like they played out, and they had Trayvon Martin's mama going around and Trayvon Martin's daddy going around. It's going to play out the exact same way. But my piece is about, I want to go back to the topic of the show. If men, because now I don't want people to keep thinking I just talked about the ladies the whole show. You men have to get healthy and stand up and insist that she stand down. And a woman wants to stand down. And the women who don't want to stand down, they're not just angry at the cops because they look at the cops at authority. They're angry at all men that have been in authority over them and mistreated them their whole life. And I know 1,000 of those women who are like, you know what, you don't tell me. Like, anytime they see a man, they're saying, especially a police officer with a gun, yo, somebody's got a gun, he's in charge. And when somebody wages war on you and you don't have any weapons or any type of defense, and your numbers, like, it's 5 of them and 1 of you, every video that every person is posting on YouTube right now where they're showing police brutality, guess what? When one police slams him to the ground, it's at least 6 of them mobbing on him immediately. We're not mobbing on nobody like that because we don't have the numbers and we don't have the training, which is back to my basic premise of, ladies, you distract us from being in our full warrior mode when you're right there standing with us at this day and time, in this fight, on this front line, we don't need you to physically stand there. Now, what we need you ladies to do, because now somebody said, well, you just talking and you offer no solutions. They've been putting this little flyer out, Ro. I'm going to turn this back over to Ro. Watch this, what I'm going to get ready to say. They want everybody to do a blackout on September the 8th and don't buy anything from Best Buy, Walmart, whatever. Ro, will a blackout work if black women don't get behind it? Are black women going to stop buying hair care products for 90 days to make
No.
Nope.
Okay, why? Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's try this. Because the Montgomery boy boycott is what everybody's talking about. They said, well, when they boycotted in Montgomery, we got some attention. Yes, but when we got back on the bus, we still didn't have our own bus company. So let's say if we try that now around a holiday, will black women not go shopping for Christmas for Michael Brown? Yes or no?
No, they don't still shop.
I mean, but I mean, they're angry. I mean, all these black women that are marching, and white women who are marching in Chicago, New York, Atlanta, L.A., will they say, I'm not going to buy anything over the Christmas holidays or Valentine's Day or Thanksgiving, and I'm not going to the Black Friday sale either because of what happened to Michael Brown until he gets justice? Will women do that?
No, but they need to do it.
Exactly. So that's what they're.
Can I just say one thing real quick?
Yes.
You were saying something about the men need to come in and tell the women to basically stand down. I know that sounds good, but when you got so many men, I call it the out of sight, out of mind situation, where they have kids, but it's out of sight, out of mind. They're not doing nothing. They do what they want to do. I mean, if they see these women that's going to be in the front line like that, and it's a lot of men out here that's not doing anything for their children, or really not even on the other side of the woman to help, what makes you think they really gonna sit there and tell these women to back down and just, chill and we'll take over?
Because I'm not.
There's not a lot of real men out here too much no more either.
I'm not.
Excuse me. Women need to stop saying that. Okay.
I'm saying this because it is true from what I'm seeing. From what I'm seeing from down here where I live at.
Listen to what she's saying. Listen to what she's saying. Listen to what she's saying and stop trying to prove your point. Just listen to what she's getting ready to tell you for a second.
Yes, your words have become your reality. You have to stop saying that. Men are not evil.
I never said men are evil. I say that me actually. I said if there's a lot of men, evil never came out of my mouth. I say when you have a lot of men. Okay, listen, I can tell you this. Well, I tell you all for me. I know for a fact that if I put my behind on the front line and went out there knowing I got my sons, knowing I got my 3-year-old, that nobody else needs to, I do everything for mine. And I was out there and something was to happen to me, I know that my child father, if they was to see me out there, you think they would stop? They would be like, let her go on. They would not stop me. I'm just saying, I can speak for me.
Would you listen to him? Would you listen to him if your father? Listen, hold on, let me answer this, Ro.
Yeah, I would.
If he shows up, he ain't been doing nothing for you and your children or anything, and you find your way, leave your children here, and wherever you stay at, and go to Ferguson and be on the front line in Ferguson, and all of a sudden you bump into your baby fathers, and they be like, get your ass in the house with them kids. What are you gonna tell them? What you gonna tell him? What you gonna tell him? Don't say nothing, Ro. What you gonna tell him?
Me personally, I'm not gonna sit on the phone and lie. To me, knowing that, you
on the streets in Florida.
I wouldn't be out there. I'm sorry, that's just me. I wouldn't be out there. Now, I can, from the sideline, if it's something else that I probably can do, but me personally, just to be out there knowing how aggressive everything is.
Would you listen?
And somebody, I wouldn't be there.
Would you listen to your baby father if he came and told you something to do like a man right now is the question. if you was down there. Don't try to squeeze out of the question because you say you wouldn't be down there.
Squeeze out the question.
Yes, you did. I asked you if you.
It probably depends on the tone.
There we go. You gonna sit there and keep yourself in danger way because of the tone that he's talking to you.
At that time, it depends on the tone. You know, that's just like if anybody. If you talk to somebody, if you talk to somebody in a right way, that's how I feel.
You have to listen to what you're saying. You'd rather be right than safe.
No, what I'm saying is I know personally, I told you up front, I know I wouldn't be out there. It's not for me.
No, but you said it depends on the tone. So what
you where he was saying that if your baby father was out there to get your ass home, would you go home? Now, if he was out there, like, okay, well, on the tone. I said if I was out there, what you're saying is you should go home. You would probably go home.
Okay, but
it's probably being me and okay. That's
I'm just saying, how much does the tone matter? How much does the tone matter when what kind of point are you trying to prove with the tone?
Well, at the end of the day, it don't matter because I know me personally, I wouldn't be out there. I wouldn't be out there with all that. I couldn't be out there. You know, I couldn't be out there. And they don't care. They shoot. I couldn't be out there.
So if he came,
like I said,
so if he wanted to come back into the house and get back in the house.
Okay, no, it's nobody. See, the thing with me is it's not coming back in the house because, like I said, I'm a single parent. And I don't go back and forth. I'm one of those women. I don't talk to mine. I do everything that I have to do.
So he can't come back in now.
So in a safe environment. So because his father is not that type of dude that I can go back and forth on the phone with and conversate with. He's not right for my child. So the safety of my child is important.
If your father. So if he gets the book, man leads and says, I'm going to come back in the crib and start leading and come back into my child's life and your life, then what you going to say?
To be honest with you, my situation with my son right now, father, yes, I have son father. I would never, it could be no book that he could read for me to be back, you know, to go back with him. There's not one book. And this is not because, we had an argument, it was nothing like that. This man put his hands on me when I was pregnant with my child. You know, so I was in the hospital. So that's something to me. You know, I was pregnant, stomach out and everything, and you was drunk or whatever the case may be, and you put your hands on me. So it's not a book that he can read to me for me to go back with him. I don't do that. I don't go back and forth like that. That's the first time a man ever put their hands on me. Mm-hmm. So in my book, you know, I don't know. Some women, they do go back and forth like that. I just wouldn't. I mean, when you do that, to me, you don't care about me or my child. Safety is more important. So I hope I'm not getting, you know, looked at crazy or, you know, like, oh, you know, because of the book situation. No, I wouldn't go back with that man.
Right.
That's just me. You know, if you put your hands on me, you know, and it's not, oh, you know, and then you put your hands on me, you did it in front of your own mother, and when your mother tried to slap you, and you slap your mother down, if a man slaps their mama down, you know they don't mind killing you.
So here's my, I mean, how did you miss all those yellow signs though? Because when you met him before y'all started having sex.
When my child passed away, I was really, truly deep down in depression, and he was somebody that I kind of like, you know, I was like, okay, I want this out of my mind. I don't want to think about my son no more. I was kind of trying to go out with him, and some things wasn't really right. It's like...
and you picked an unhealthy man. That's why we recommend the book to you, so you don't pick unhealthy men anymore.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to tell you something about me right now. I'm very happy. I'm glad that at the end of the day, that situation happened for me to uplift myself, leave, get the things that I could, put in my car, and drive pregnant after I got my butt out the hospital, clean from Michigan, all the way back to California on my own, and start over my life again. And guess what I did? I ended up going to nursing school. I just graduated. I've done a lot of things that I think I probably wouldn't have done if those things probably wouldn't have happened. They opened up my eyes.
Do you have
and therefore, when it comes to men, you know, I'm very content where I'm at right now. I'm out of school. I know what I have to be focused on to make my life. And then, you know, once I think once I get myself all the way together, spiritually, everything, then I'm ready. I don't want to go into anything and I'm not completely ready yet. That's just how I feel. But I know what I want and I know what I don't want. And right now, I'm all right with that. Because right now I have to focus and raise my son.
So don't you?
Okay.
Go ahead, Ro.
What is your name?
Tiffany.
Tiffany. How is your femininity with all of this stuff?
I'm not going to even lie to you. I used to be real, maybe because of my grandmother. You don't need no man. They ain't crap. Woo. I used to have that bad. I'm not going to lie to you and sit there and say I didn't. I had that bad.
Let me tell you something. It is very difficult for me to listen to your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Your voice is extremely harsh, and it sounds scary.
That's crazy. I've never heard nothing like that before.
Okay? It's probably because the people who you scared didn't tell you and left.
No, really, because I can tell you this right here. I have ex-boyfriends that are married now, live totally different states, that we are really good friends. So therefore, they know me as being a good person.
The way that you talk is dominant, masculine, and scary. Your voice, the way that you talk, the way you use words, it is scary.
The way I use my words?
Yes.
Because I told you that basically I left the situation.
No. It's your tone. It's your tone. It ain't got nothing to do with
from your voice.
Yeah, the energy coming from your voice.
The energy coming from my voice? I'm lost. I'm just thinking I'm holding a conversation with you guys.
Okay, we don't just hold conversations. When we talk, we are either masculine or feminine. We are either dominant or soft. We are either nurturing or not. Your voice, the way that the energy is coming from your voice is scary.
I'm just going to say that's your opinion.
Okay.
That's your opinion because, you know, as being a black woman on the phone talking to another black one, I feel like you trying to put me down. And that's something that I don't do. I'm not the type to put nobody down and sit there and get on the phone and say something negative. I would never say anything negative to you.
I think you will be all right. I think you will be all right. But
somebody be all right.
Somebody has to tell you. Somebody has to tell
you. I mean,
and
you're the first person, but it's okay if you feel that way. I don't feel that way. I mean,
but listen.
He's
It's
recording this. It's going to be on YouTube, so maybe I can play this back to somebody and let them hear it and see what they think.
Or what you think, because my voice doesn't sound the same. My voice doesn't sound the same when I'm listening to it as when I listen to it and play it back. And when people are giving me feedback, sometimes I may not smell my own body odor or my own breath. So when somebody comes, wait a minute, but listen,
for somebody to sit there on the phone and tell you that you sound scary.
Yeah, no. But she's not saying that you are a scary person or that you sound scary all the time.
I know exactly what she's saying.
But listen what you're doing. But listen what you're doing. But listen, you're talking over me now. A man who's not being offensive, who's not being insulting. And you're being defensive, and I'm not trying to be offensive or talk down to you. And you're not being to me, and you can ask as many men as you want. It's not feminine to us when we're talking and a woman talks over us. Especially I'm running the thing and I'm being in control of the show to make sure we don't have a party line. I'm making sure that nobody disrespects nobody. If Ro was disrespecting you, I could mute Ro's mic because I'm the watchdog here. I'm the protector of everybody. So even if I felt that, and there you go again. Just listen for a second.
I'm sorry, babe. This is another thing. Yes, it is your show. I was commenting on one thing. You asked me a question. I commented on that. I just gave you a scenario. The reason you brought up the book situation where he brought this book, you wouldn't go back. No, that's the reason why I brought the scenario. Sorry, somebody put their hands on me. I choose not to go back with them. So a lot of women that do go back with men, they do that. I don't want to go back.
But we're not talking about that. We moved on. We moved on past that.
We went from that
to your tone.
You asked me a question from that.
And then we told you about your tone. We gave you feedback to try to help you. If you don't want to take it, we're not here to convert you.
It's a difference between feedback when she was like, your voice, you know, I being a woman, talking to another woman, I can hear her tone too. I could say, you know, wait a minute, I thought I was talking cool. I mean, I thought I was coming off like y'all understood me.
It is very common, and I used to be just the same way. It's very common for when a woman approaches you with a soft, gentle voice, and you're not in your soft, gentle voice, you find her soft, gentle voice annoying and offensive and condescending. This is very common because you're in a different energy than I am right now. I switch my voice. I don't have the same voice all the time, but I know that I have to change it and make it appropriate for certain people to hear me and to have compassion for me.
Well, I didn't call on here for nobody to have compassion for me. I called because of the topic, and I was just giving my opinion. And I was telling him how I felt about, you know, the situation with the rituals. And another thing, you talking about spirit, I don't think I talk in a I don't know. I never had an issue. I've never heard it before. You're trying to say, well, maybe it's the first time somebody said it to you or whatever. But, you know, I'm going through my own thing spiritually and I know me. One thing about me, I never want to be negative towards anybody.
Okay.
That's not my style.
Well, thank you, because this is the most I can go. This is the furthest I can go.
Okay, well, you know what, you guys have a good night.
Thank you, Tiffany, for calling in. I appreciate it. Thank you. Caller from the 404-855. Your microphone is wide open. What's happening? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Can you hear me? Kaya?
Yeah, peace. What's going on, Brother Amari?
Peace, Brother Amari. Calling from Atlanta. I just want to say I've been listening to everybody tonight, and I just think that, one, we got to kind of first, you know, consult with the spiritual forces and the astrologists before we approach anything in life. You know, everybody in history always went to the shaman. Any pharaoh, any Chinese head of state always consulted with their astrologists and their spiritualists first. And that's with anything we do in life from the day we were born. So, Kaya, and also, you know, we have to be able to discuss things without the emotion and our personal hurt comes into play when we discuss things. So it's unfortunate sometimes because we don't get enough of these forums, so we have to try to speak on a lot of things, and it invades the topic that we're actually discussing at hand. So we probably need, you know, more of Kaya, probably, you know, people sending in the questions, and to get all the questions out first before we actually start to have people talking to each other. Because of that, you know, our ability to kind of not control the emotion behind things. And I was sitting here listening for some hours now, working and listening, and I heard the sisters going back and forth, and I heard a lot of hurt. And so, Kaya, you know, every time we have a forum, it seems to be hijacked by the hurt of the community, which is unfortunate, you know. But I just wanted to say that piece, man, and, you know, hopefully the sister Tiffany is still listening. And hopefully you and the sister that was talking can have a side conversation outside of this forum and build on that. And other than that, brother, appreciate the conversation. I got to jump off. I want to say that before I exit.
All right. But we still want to know How do you feel about the topic? Do you feel that the women should be standing beside you fighting while you up there fighting with the police, or should she be inside being feminine?
I think it is at war, strategy prevails. Good strategy prevails. And it's never a good strategy to have one strategy.
Okay. But you notice that you don't see any of the police force, their wives are not out there with them, or none of their community and family members are out there with them. Have you noticed any photos or videos or anything like that where the wives of the police officers out there?
Again, these are hired, salaried employees, and maybe some even positions that are invading a land that's occupied, by some of our people. We have to look at all elements, all angles, and that's a good point that you made about their wives are not out there, but we're not also invading their actual community. Now, if we were to invade their community, it may be a different story. We haven't seen a black force, a black police force, or a black, militia invade a white community and hold it hostage.
You won't see it either. You won't see it either. It costs billions of dollars. It costs billions of dollars. So
this is my point. This is my point. You haven't seen our power exercised over their community. Since the creation of camera phone television. Maybe when Hannibal or some of the other brothers invaded Europe, you might have seen that, but you haven't seen it in our time. So I think strategy. To answer your question, I think it's a strategy. We shouldn't have one strategy. And even watching some of the other culture films, I watch a lot of Chinese war films. The women are trained, if need be, to take care of the home or defending it if the time comes. And we are out of order. We don't have any order. We don't have family order, personal order, community order. There's no order. There's no strategy. It's reactionary. They're reactionary. So in the reaction, there hasn't been any strategy, brother. So the sisters, if need be, and that's a strategy, they need to fight. Then yes, there's different ways to fight. Like you said, someone asked me the other day about fighting. I told them that the heavens are at war. The gods are at war. We're mere mortals. So if the gods are at war, then what do you think the mortals are going to be? So some just like you were saying, you fighting against deeper magic, deeper magicians. I'm fighting against deeper architects or different angels. Everything is at war. We are, like you told me years ago, you said we live on a planet that is based on war.
Yep.
The animals are at war. The predator and prey. People say it's peace in nature, but if you listen enough to nature, there's war going on in nature. There's war going on in the woods. Something is running from something. Something is.
But I think that's why
that's not sounds of peace. That sounds of some insect running.
And even in some of our past shows, Ro has said she has fought very hard to regain her femininity. Didn't you say that one time, Ro? I fought very hard to regain my femininity.
Right.
So I don't have a whole bunch of mercy for somebody who thinks that I have had my femininity like this the whole time. If I can do it, some other people can do it too.
Well, this is the thing that, Khayr, you point out in astrology. We'll all have our own purpose. So that we can't generalize ourselves on someone else that's destined and defined to do something entirely different. So you're defined and you're destined to do that. One thing they talk about in these Chinese movies is about fate. That is your own personal fate. That your personal fate cannot be exerted or exercised over someone else's fate. So that's a personal entity, and as you get deeper into the, our birth charts and things, we're all defined to do something different. So you may find that route. Someone else is going to find a different route. So, it's all about connecting the dots and helping each other in whatever our route. may be.
Absolutely. But I mean, as we've said many times, as Rose says, her information is for healthy relationships. So people who have a fate of a healthy relationship, like teachers that I've had and that you've had and that Rose had, it was in her fate that she studied with them. So, but the teacher needed to say, hey, I'm over here. I did write the manual. Everybody ain't gonna read it. Everybody hasn't read Shakespeare. Everybody hasn't read Things Fall Apart. Everybody hasn't read Man Leads. Everybody ain't read the Bible. Everybody ain't read the Quran. But it had to get done. And so what we're doing is taking something that we believe is very useful and saying, here it is for people, you know what I'm saying, who want this particular lifestyle. And if it don't fit, like if you want to have war, if you want to have chaos in your house, and you don't want to be in a healthy heterosexual relationship, this is not the book for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so brother, I think, you know, a lot of this needs to come down to clanship. And I'm a true believer of tribal forces and clanship and diplomacy, and you building your own tribe and your own clan, and defining it. This is who we are, which is nothing wrong with that, you know. And you defend it. The thing about, you're not born in peace; you're born in chaos. You have to attain peace, and then peace has to be protected. So if you're a peaceful tribe, and you know you're protecting that and defending it, and continue to build it, and invite those who want to be a part of that, they will come once it's built. That's just how it all works, you know. And there'll be other tribal forces that won't agree, so they have to, you know, they have to serve their fate as well. So you're looking at the fate of your clan.
Hey, look, you got Ro over there smiling because what I can read her mind right now when Ro is saying, didn't he just describe lineage? Didn't he just prove our point from last week that men are always talking about lineage? Ro, what did he just break down lineage, Ro? Did he just tell us about how a man really feels? That sounds like a healthy man. He talking lineage. He ain't talking about nothing but lineage. His last 3 minutes, it was all lineage talk. That was all lineage, bro. That's my bra right there. Yes, that's right. A man who recognizes that his lineage is what's important to him. And that's why we had to show men like me are saying strategically, I want lineage, and I can't have lineage if my woman is getting shot at by my enemy. She can't. I just want her to stand over.
You notice the clan Chief Farrakhan, and you see how Minister Farrakhan moved. He moved and still in the same fashion, sort of how Elijah moved. You don't see any of the MGT out there. You don't even see a heavy force. He didn't even send all his soldiers down there. He has a elite force that he can actually send to Ferguson. He strategically didn't.
Right.
You know, so there's a reason why you don't see them there in that presence. He got enough soldiers to surround every police out there. He made a tribal decision not to.
Right. Exactly.
You know, whether you agree with Chief Farrakhan or not, you know, he has a tribe. You know, and he's not gonna. He knows exactly about warfare, and it's a reason why, you know, Allah has said, don't have things on you that can agitate these forces.
Woo!
Because you don't want to activate these forces, especially when you're not prepared to deal with that force and that energy force. You see, so war is an energy force. You're not ready to go to that point. And so, like you said, it's been a ceremony out there of, it's a ritual, sacrificing these lives. And that's why I sent you that. Yeah, it's definitely intentional. And, you know, you definitely got to keep the women at home. You already have what we call, if you're not in a clan per se, a structured clan or civilization or civil order, you're what they call a savage. You understand? And savages are like nomads, or they don't have that structure or their order, you know, and they're easily cherry picked. And so what you're looking at right now is a cherry picking. They pick either any one of them, women or men out there in the protest, and they just take them. They cherry pick. You, time for you to go. You, let's take you. You, let's shoot you. You, let's arrest you. It's just cherry pick. It's a field day. It's really the worst form of military strategy available. You know, it's a savage military strategy. And that's why savages usually are easy to get wiped out. So, yeah, got to protect the women and build that clanship and that civil order and that defense mechanism. Or else, bro, we can have this conversation, which I don't even always agree with these conversations that be having. I think we probably need to focus on, the tribal forces and building up the tribes.
Absolutely, big bro. Well, I think that you would find that Rose book, Man Leads, I think that you would really, really, really find a lot of various strategies in there. Like you said, not just one, but I think that she has done a wonderful job of making a contribution to to the topic tonight, because I couldn't have done the show without her, and she's doing an influence herself, because you gotta have the wisdom. You understand that part too. You can't just have the knowledge, you gotta have the wisdom as well. But when the wisdom is misplaced, I think that's what the show is really about. When the wisdom is misplaced, and that's what the show every Wednesday is about, is when
Well, two things, bro. I'm gonna cut y'all. I gotta roll with 2 things before I get out of here. That book should be in every barbershop and beauty salon in our neighborhood. Those are the 2 places that has always been, the support of the black community, or that foundation or anchor. As well, I think we gotta build those elder councils again. We gotta have the youth groups and the eldership has to be brought back, where the elders of the community gather. And I'm not talking about the church clergy type elder, leadership, Bishop T.D. Jakes and them get together. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people like the sister Roll on the phone. I'm talking about brothers like you, and a brother eldership council, a sister eldership council, where the sisters, are getting together and actually having these councils and inviting each other. And the tribal chiefs can get together like yourself and meet with other chiefs, because there's many others in the community. If we just don't get on the same accord and kind of grow as a larger force, Voltron, so and discuss these things. We got differences, but we need to talk them out and have some type of diplomacy, so you can exercise these thoughts and drop these seeds in the council, and then the council can drop these seeds in the youth.
When do we start?
The councils? Start to invite people. We got it. It's a relationship. Kaya is big on relationships, but then relationships have to be built and earned, and trust got to be built. So I would say, set dates, and we have to start to invite people, 2, 4, 8, 10. I would say, do it that way.
Yeah.
Every mother has a grandmother, and every mother has, a daughter or a son. And the good thing about clanship is that there's a structure where the elders are respected, and you bring your children. People bring their children to church, and the children don't really like to go to church, but they still have to go. So why not bring your children to, a place like, when you're discussing these things, so they can see the elder people getting together and being serious. And then there's also training with them. At some point, those children have to come up and know they're taking the place. They have a responsibility now. I heard you talk about Malik Zul Shabazz earlier, Kaya. And the brother has grown some. He still has a bit of ego to him, but he's grown some. He said something very, very good on a show with Sinetta I was watching. He said that Minister Farrakhan got together in Savior's Day and put Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, and all of that, our elite, Dr. Khaled, on the wall and honored all of them. And I thought that was very tribal. I think, Minister Farrakhan, to do that, to take the tribal chiefs of these different war tribes and acknowledge them and honor them as a chief yourself, that says a lot. That says a lot. So, this conversation that we're having tonight about we should be meeting with the chiefs of Ferguson. The first thing I ask is, where's the chiefs at? Where the leaders at from that community that make decisions and their sons follow them? They don't have any. They don't have any organized
And see now which is one of the problems with people coming in, and everybody wants to go to Ferguson like Ferguson was so organized. That's the hypocrisy of the whole thing. Is Ferguson had no leadership, they had no political voice, they had nothing but a bunch of unemployment and a bunch of cats getting pimped.
So I said two things yesterday. Two things that needed to happen. One, we need to address why was the brother stealing. So we need a actual youth program in Ferguson. That's saying to me that if the brother out stealing, smoking, stealing cigars, that's telling me that they lack the actual, influence of some strong brothers like yourself in that community. One. Two, they need a Ferguson political party to immediately vote out all of them crackers in office in Ferguson. Those are the first two immediate things for every celebrity, everybody that's coming. First, they need to give to two different programs. One is the group program, and they need to give to the Ferguson political party. Them are two things they need to form immediately.
Woo! I can't do no.
Then they need to have a police, an actual citizens police organization that will arrest Darren Wilson if he ever steps foot back into Ferguson suburbs.
He ain't coming back. To me, I got $2, so he ain't never coming back.
That needs to be known. They're going to have a citizen arrest, or a citizen arrest board, or a citizen police force, which you can legally form, and they need to let it know that they will arrest Darren Wilson if he ever comes into that county or into that area, or any other county. We need to be able to have every black place where we stay. We need to be able to say it's a citizen's arrest for this person.
I also I wanted to let Ro get a word in too, but I wanted to say that if we're going to do citizen's arrest for Darren Wilson as a white police officer, we need a citizen police force to start arresting for black-on-black crime too, because I ain't going to sit here and make it seem like, the white man is just picking off blacks. It's some blacks picking off blacks.
But then what you going to do with, so then we got to, if you're going to do that, brother, then you got to have some type of what you deem as illegal, because, then, you got to arrest the weed man. You arrest the weed man, it's going to be an uproar. You understand?
Well, if we get enough people in office to vote, then we're gonna be all right. But I want to let Ro get some in because we only got 4 minutes left. Ro, please tell people how they can find you, find your book, right, and where you at. Thank you, Brother Amar. I'm gonna holler at you. Peace.
All right, peace.
Thank you.
Peace.
You can find me. You can find me on Facebook at Ro Cutno, R-O. Last name Cutno, and the book is Man Leaves, and you can find the book at Amazon, or you can contact me. But I want to say that we have all of these solutions in mind, and none of these solutions are going to be effective if we do not fix the core problem, which is the family. That can be fixed faster than a lot of these other solutions.
Yes, root cause therapeutics. That's why I had you come on Symptometry. You are offering you going to the very root. Like all of those things, if the family is fixed, we don't need citizen's arrest. If the family is fixed, we don't necessarily have to vote out, as as Amari said,
right,
vote out the folks. You know what I'm saying? Because the family is dysfunctional, and I totally, which is one of the reasons I'm behind the book. And just the ideal of the book is because I am a recoverer. I'm a latchkey kid coming from a dysfunctional family in the Reagan era. So I know how much work I did on myself and the people who have collectively helped me. And I consider myself very blessed. I definitely must have some fate to give back. So that's why, I'm in the same boat. So if somebody wants to team up with Coach Khayr, you can catch me at CoachKhayr.com, Coach Khayr on Instagram, Moon Magic. If you don't sign up by in the morning, moonmagic28.info. We'll see you again September the 16th will be the next day that opens back up. And yeah, you can send me a friend request if you want to on Facebook. I definitely appreciate Ro for coming on the show tonight and rocking with me over there in the co-pilot seat while she was texting on her phone, because we can hear your phone buzzing every time.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Boom, boom. Hey, she was over there texting and we heard it, but it's okay. She was, you know, something happens. I'm over here texting too. My phone is right here. Wow, you see that one love, baby? But I got to turn it all the way off. You can't hear it vibrating. But check it. I appreciate everybody who came tonight. Check this out. 5 viewers. Yo, if you're my Facebook friend and you're watching me on Facebook now, you stayed all the way to the end, send me a message. So I want to know who's is checking me out. If you're not my Facebook friend, send me an email, coachkhayr@gmail, or follow me on Instagram and was like, yo, I peeped your show the other night. It was all right. Or you can say it was whack. Or tell me what you gained from it. And if you're really my friend, you can post on my Facebook page and say, oh, no, you don't, because I got that shit down. But I do have it if you're my friend where you can post on the link when I'm advertising the show. So if you want to do that, I appreciate it. If you need an astrology reading, you can go to CoachKAstrology.info. Coach K Astrology. Learn your history. If you don't want a reading and you just want to see what it's about and what you get, go over to the site and check it out. You want to leave a note for Coach, I'm right there on my site as well. Twitter, all of that good stuff. Praying for the family of all victims of all brutality. All brutality, I'm praying for people. I really, most of the time, would say all brutality is wrong, but my brother Amari just reminded me that on this planet, it's just war. This is an unagreeable, disagreeable planet. So that's the best I can say about it. So I just pray for the light to go to those who have been tragically slain, to the families of those who still suffer emotionally for various reasons, for the mothers who have lost, for the fathers who have lost, just all the way around. I really feel that as a society, we should study death more. I really feel we should study the subject of death, okay? Like, so we won't be so ripped apart. So when you're ripped apart by things you don't study, and if you're just religious and death comes, you're going to be ripped apart. So there's no such thing as death, period. So somebody says, what happened to Michael Brown? He transcended the energy from his body. He lost too much oxygen, and his soul left and energetically went somewhere else, into another dimension. Other dimensions do exist. Whether you want to call it heaven or hell, or the astral plane or whatever, it still, or the dream state, it still exists. All right? So you just got to study more, man. You got to study more. But it can be horrific on the other side after what we call a physical death. But energy can never be destroyed. It only move to another place. So, and researchers said most of the time you reincarnate here if you haven't escaped the cycle of life, anywhere from 10 days to, I think, 5 years, right? And 10 years for sure you done reincarnated back if you're coming back. So I know my daddy's probably back around here somewhere kicking up dust. So yeah, that's a possibility. All right, I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace.